I know you would cry. How do I know? Because I've done it to one of you fuckers in real life, and you have cried. You cried and apologized to me, and you even said that I made you feel like a bitch. I always call him Rusty Spoon, but I think his name's Rusty Cage.
The YouTuber Rusty Cage. It was implied that he cut his own head off.
YouTuber Rusty Cage may have decapitated himself via guillotine on a YouTube live stream. It's not clear if it's a prank or not.
I think Rusty's dead.
And now he's gone forever.
This guy just beheaded himself on a YouTube live stream.
Did Rusty take things too far by doing this?
From the unfettered corners of the dark web. A couple of guys who aren't afraid to tell it like it is.
Boeing deliberately killed these two people who were set to testify against them.
They won't be censored. They can't be controlled.
We put boots to asses.
This is locker room talk like you've never heard before.
Teach them how to code a sign that says "Do not shit here."
This is not your grandma's radio.
Basically, it's a sub sandwich without meat and cheese.
This is the Rusty Cage Show.
Are you serious, Rusty? You returned? Oh my goodness.
We are live!
Good evening, you godless sodomites. Hear my words and fear for your sodomite sins. This is the Rusty Cage Show. Hear my words and fear for your sodomite sins. Are we hearing some returning audio? Am I hearing that? Are they hearing this? Some
Might be.
audio. There's like a little bit of a reflection going on. Am I hearing that? An echo. That's not good.
Might be. I think we might have curved back to 2024, Rusty. We're seeing double. We're hearing double. Curved back to double detention, Rusty. We're seeing double. It's not good. We're hearing double.
I thought I got all this figured out.
Double detention, Rusty. We're seeing double. It's not good.
Yes. Returning audio loops. Jesus Christ. Figured out.
Double detention, Rusty.
Okay, let's see what. Yes. Returning audio.
All right, guys. First mini game of the new year. Where's the audio coming from?
Got it. Well, EmpLemon, would you do me a favor and introduce this show properly, because I seem to have made some sort of mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Rusty Cage Show! We are live in 2025! I am your co-host, EmpLemon, the E in Rust, E Cage. Joined as always by the star of the show. This is Rusty Cage.
Well, as promised in the last episode, I will be putting up EmpLemon's clown picture, so give me a quick moment. Let's see how this looks. Ladies and gentlemen, LA is on fire right now. And so in solidarity, so are we. Currently, we are on fire.
We have temporarily teleported the Rusty Cage Tech Studio into the Hell Dimension. We are literally feeling the crackling fires of screaming souls right here, right behind this wall. I can feel the heat. I can feel it coming off of here.
I thought this was going to go a lot quicker, having to set this bit up, but guys, this is it's a hefty drill. It's a very small room, and we have a lot of particulate matter here. But I'm going to remedy the last episode in which I shamed you for the show and tell segment. It was incorrect of me to do, and I want you to feel at home and comfortable.
Oh, don't worry, Rusty. The people at home will decide for themselves whether or not they want to hear 17 more stories about me ordering fast food and various complications arriving due to my vegan disposition.
Let's see, right about here. Seems good.
That's right. Make sure you get right into the electrical and the main water line right there.
I didn't check. I probably should have checked first, but... You know, I assume that there are no wires in this wall, and the chances of hitting one... Well, I don't really know what the chances are.
Well, that would have made for a great show. 2 minutes of double audio, and then it just cuts out after you drill into the wall from some massive electrical fire.
These are concrete walls, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure how my audio sounds through this mask. All right, let's see here.
Of course,
Right fit.
Rusty is wearing a mask for COVID safety.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to get the bird flu.
Yeah, I already have avian flu. That's why I've got a bit of bronchitis going on here, folks. So I apologize if there's any complications throughout the show with any of this coughing problem.
All right, hopefully this hole is big enough.
But hey, you wear the mask to, I guess, stop others from getting sick. And I'm already sick, so why would I need to wear it?
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. I already survived death a few times. There we go. Perfect. I survived death a few times, especially over this little vacation that we took. I guess it's already been, over 2 weeks since our last live, and people think that the show is potentially over.
Well, as of right now, Rusty, I believe we have tied the number of shows on the original iteration of the Rusty Cage Show.
Yes, that's right. Okay, let's see how this looks up here. I just put a bunch of concrete dust. Well, this could be brighter.
Now, Rusty, I think that looks very nice.
Is that good?
I think that is a welcome addition to the Rusty Cage Show set.
Now, is this particulate matter gonna actually fuck with you a lot?
We'll see how I'm holding up after we get through the first leg of the show here.
Yes. All right. Well, we got the clowns up. I was going to wear the clown makeup, and I thought we both could do it. We could look like these clowns, but you mentioned to me that you have a particular allergy to...
I have dressed like a clown before to do a Ridge Wallet shoot on the EmpLemon channel all the way back in 2019. I dressed like the Joker, but I guess I used some fucked up paint white, and it ended up giving me like this blistery sore like in my lip for like 3 months before it finally went away. So after that, I've become quite paranoid of putting on makeup.
I don't trust anything that's in paint at all. I mean, I imagine clowns probably die a lot quicker than any other profession.
Yeah, this stuff is literally extracted out of the earth by paraplegic orphans who have like stumps for arms and legs.
Yeah.
They're already so far gone that the companies feel like, oh, what more is a little chemical contamination gonna do to them? But it doesn't bode well for the quality of most cosmetics, I feel. Well, anyway, folks, since we last left you on the show, there's been quite a busy news cycle, and we're gonna get into it today. All the major news that's happened over the past couple weeks, we're going to try to cover it right here on the Rusty Cage Show.
Yeah, everything that we missed, all the updates, there have been a few updates. Me personally, Cage Tech did send me out to jump out of an airplane just recently, and it was a very exhilarating experience. And I don't want to show too much of the footage, but at the end of the show, we will be showing at least one clip to see me essentially shitting my pants in the middle of the air. But also, for some reason, we're monetized, even though I don't think that we should be.
Suckers.
Yeah,
no. Good decision, YouTube.
No, it's
you rightfully monetized the Rusty Cage Show. Thank you for coming into business with us. You will be very proud. I'm sure that the Rusty Cage Show pay pigs in the audience right now are prepared to spend a lot of money because super chats are enabled, folks.
That's right. And the thing about super chats, though, I saw people in the last show talking about, why are they even doing this live if they're not interacting with the chat? But the whole idea is to have this pseudo show where we pretend like we're operating with we're reacting to a chat. Instead, we're just taking away the authentic nature of how we normally would talk and putting on this show presentation. But now, the actual audience can spend money and ask us questions. But as you can see from the text that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now, we will only be reading super chats during breaks and at the end of the show, just to not derail what we're already talking about.
We're going to try to get most of them at the end so that we're not interrupting the content we have planned for you today that much. We'll try to get to a few during the breaks, but in general, if you're submitting a message right now, you might just have to wait until the end. So I guess that's more incentive, folks, to watch the Rusty Cage Show and stick with us here. This is called viewer retention. This is very important for getting the show out to more people.
Yes, we have to keep everyone on board. And Cage Tech has, once again, given us this dossier. It looks like this one is for you.
Thank you.
Trying to think if there was any sort of bits or things I was supposed to be doing.
No, Rusty. You've already put the bits away in the rest of the toolbox. It's time to get into the news!
Into the news. And this might be a mistake, but I gave Emp his own keyboard so he can also control the slides.
You gave me the baby little Nintendo Wii controls while you have the main controls, but I do have the discretion right now to switch back and forth between slides when we get there.
All right, well, should we just get right into it?
Let's get into it, Rusty.
Okay, let's see here.
So when we first left off, the H-1B visa controversy was still very much swirling.
Yes.
And Elon Musk decided to wipe off the clown makeup and decide to become serious for once. We have a 45-minute serious video from Sam Hyde.
Yes, 46 and 5 seconds. I saw when he posted this, I was on vacation at the time.
Yeah, during your Cage Tech mandated stress test for your new cyberkinetic unit.
Yeah, and so I was trying not to, consume too much stuff, but I saw this blew up. I mean, just looking at the point of the screenshot, 33,000 retweets, 136,000 likes. That's a huge video.
So once again...
And I did not watch it, but I do love the aspect ratio.
Rusty thus far has not seen the video. I have watched the video. I probably have stuff to say about it, but I believe that we have a jam-packed show here for you folks, and I don't quite know if giving this video the full reaction it deserves is going to be sufficient given our time frame. However, we will leave it open to the audience at home in order for you guys to tell us if we should dedicate a future stream fully reacting to this content. I'm trying to access my controls here. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
It's working, folks. So we're not going to go through the video here, but let us know if it's something you want to see us go through live. I know it's quite a bit. It's been a couple weeks at this point. It might be old news, but definitely let us know if you want us to save this for another time, because I think Sam says a lot of interesting things inside of it, and we could give it a good watch here on the Rusty Cage Show.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could watch all the way through. So, I mean, did you watch it?
I did watch all the way through.
Okay. He does make a lot of good points. What is he talking about? He's mainly just calling him out for the Indian hiring and probably calling out Elon, I imagine, for being a little bit of a fraudster and a con man, which he seems to be turning into. It seems like he did a little faux pas and a misstep after he collected this whole MAGA crowd to somehow get a position in the government, which is a terrible thing to do. If you're the richest man in the world, you don't want these people to be in the government. Even if you think they're good businessmen, even if you're an Elon Musk fanboy or whatever. They're oftentimes looking out for their own best interests. And after this last talk, after the last stream, or in the recent news, it seems like he's completely flipping on this whole America First idea and going more for hiring out cheap labor.
That's right. He seemed to be behind it for approximately 3 months just to get the amount of pandering that he needed to get Tesla's stock price to go up about twofold.
Did it actually?
Increase his net worth to unequivocally the wealthiest man in the world.
That's enough to make any Asperger's person jump up in the air with their hands up.
Dark MAGA.
Yes, dark MAGA hats are now on sale. I see them on
Folks,
X all the time.
We are in the dark MAGA era. Sam Hyde is not having any of Elon's crap, and this video became very viral, heavily studied, heavily shared within conservative circles, and I think even a lot of left-wing people I'm aware of on Twitter were at least watching it and reacting to it and giving it at least a fair shake. There's a lot of big ideas in it, a lot of complex stuff. It's basically Sam Hyde's sort of thesis on the direction of America.
Should we watch just a few little minutes of it? I kind of want to see the editing. I've only seen maybe 30 seconds because I have not watched it.
That's right, folks. It's an interesting look for Sam Hyde, who usually does a lot of comedic content. You can play the beginning of the video here.
Yeah, let's do that. Want to make sure they can hear it all.
It's time for
Glad I
Serious
caught you.
Sam to come out.
Glad I got you there.
He's got an eye for
Elon
detail. I love this
Musk.
aspect ratio.
By
it's
the way,
ridiculous.
please don't watch this if you're not Elon Musk.
He has good production quality.
This is
Yeah.
a one-off video that we're doing. This is private, personal. I put this in his email. I don't know how you got this, unless you're on the
Oh, we shouldn't watch
Asmongold
this.
Discord server, in which
Well, that's just
case
a
you know
taste
my every
right
move,
now.
Okay.
But
Me and Asmongold
unfortunately, Rusty, I'm not sure if we can sit
have
here
been planning this
dilly-dallying
for a while
with
now.
this video
Moist
because,
Critical's involved.
as I
And,
said, we have a lot to get through.
Yeah, I guess if you're on the Moist Critical.
All right, Moist Critical and Asmongold and everyone, sorry. Well, the one thing that I did see that came from this video being posted that got a lot of attention, and I kind of was caught up on the nature of the criticisms that he was making, and Elon seemed to immediately crumble under the pressure of being criticized. No longer is he the cool guy that he wants to be, where, you know, he's saving the world and everyone thinks that he's like cool MAGA person. Now he's on the receiving end of criticism because he's coming out with these policy changes that makes him look bad pretty much on both sides of the political spectrum. And so he decided to make some sweeping changes to X.
That's right, Rusty. In light of Elon getting criticized by his fanboy army for the first time ever, there's going to be some changes coming to Twitter, the supposed free speech site where you, the common person, are the media now, as he says.
Okay, so yeah, I saw this. Unusual Whales had tweeted this out. This is a little bit hard for me to read. Elon Musk says that the X algorithm is changing to penalize negativity, promote informational, entertaining content, and increase unregretted user time. What did he actually say here? Algorithm tweaks coming soon to promote more informational, entertaining content. We will publish the changes to XENG, or English. Our goal is to maximize unregretted user seconds. Too much negativity is being pushed that technically grows user time, but not unregretted user time. Unregretted user time sounds like the gayest fucking new term, like a malinformation or one of these things that you come up with just to kind of protect your own assets.
Is he talking about me wasting 6 years on Twitter?
Oh, you didn't have fun on Twitter?
Get basically no benefit to my career? Because that's a lot of regrets. Is it because it's negative? Is there too much negativity on Twitter?
Well, I enjoy negative content on Twitter. That's why I go there. I want to see people saying all the negative. I want the strong criticisms, but Elon seems like after this video dropped, I saw him tweeting a lot saying things like, please, can we be more positive on this site? Can we all just get along?
Positivity. Just get along, guys.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a site where one of the only use cases is to discuss and dissect news, breaking news. And guess what, folks? A lot of the news out there is negative. There's not a lot of good news these days. And there's reasons for that. Primarily, people want important information, and usually important, critical information that affects your day-to-day standard of living is going to cover negative things. And when people see negative things, it turns into a negative conversation. I really don't understand what's so difficult for these Silicon Valley types to grasp. YouTube, getting rid of dislikes. There's no sites now where there's like public dislikes. Oh, except for Reddit, where the entire conversation is controlled by micro-fascist admins anyway,
but
that
hold
limit
on.
what is even said in the first place.
Doesn't it seem like Reddit has become closer to the bastion of free speech? Because it held true to its original thing. As every other site changed, Reddit at least still allows you to downvote things, which is good.
It's an illusion of choice, Rusty. Because in order to be able to participate in the conversation on most major subreddits anyway, you must first pass a firewall of acceptability from dozens of admins who have an existing standard of political correctness and what is considered acceptable to say. And your comment won't even be publicly viewable unless you meet this initial filter, and then you're free to be downvoted. But who needs a downvote when you've already filtered out anyone who could possibly disagree with any sort of controversial stance you may have in the first place?
So now let's compare that to what Twitter was before Elon Musk took over. The entire criticism of Twitter, which, let me go back a little bit. I remember when I first really heard of Twitter, it used to be like a nonsense site, I don't know, maybe in 2008, but it was whenever, during the Arab Spring, is whenever I first heard about it, because they'd shut down the internet in wherever the fuck that happened.
That's where Twitter started to become a serious place to discuss breaking news that
was happening.
The point of going to Twitter is that you get the news faster than any other site, because that's where the boots on the ground journalists, the amateur journalists, independent journalists, not beholden to any sort of big mainstream corporate entity, they would be boots on the ground live in these locations. And this is still very much one of the few positive and like valuable things for Twitter. It is live, instantaneous journalism from people like in the physical locations where the news is happening, so you can see the primary source information.
Exactly. So while Twitter was, like with the Twitter files, that was a huge thing. It was revealed finally that there was actual evidence of shadow banning of accounts, devaluing posts so they get shared less.
And this is after the 2016 election.
Right.
There's huge government pressure suddenly. Remember when the Russian collusion was a huge thing? Oh my God, they're influencing our elections, guys. It's not the years and years of garbage public policy and corruption and blatant corporate greed, insider trading, and taking money from lobbyists that is causing people to vote against our candidates. No, it's Russian bots. So now we have to go on to every social media and make sure that they're compliant with not allowing negativity to spread.
So, all right, so what is Elon actually saying here? Because it seems like what he considers too much negativity is being pushed, and they would like to limit unregretted user time. Unregretted means nothing. That is a vague term that anyone can... That's the dystopian fucking Orwellian bullshit.
It's a corporate Silicon Valley buzzword that has no direct operational definition. It means what he wants it to mean. In context, I assume it means people getting burnt out from Twitter, and that affects user retention, causing the overall monthly users to go down. Because, look, Twitter is a toxic hellhole. That's most sites on the internet now.
Yeah, I love it, though.
But all of a sudden, negativity is a problem now, the second it affects Elon personally.
All right. So I have not been paying attention to Sky Blue, which popped up a few months ago. and that was supposed to be the alternative to X that wasn't right-wing and toxic or fucking whatever.
Yeah, well, that's Jack Dorsey's pet project, the guy who originally made Twitter so obnoxious and unlikable after the 2016 election in the first place. And then Elon basically took over saying, oh, Twitter is for free speech now. You are the media. You can post anything to Twitter and you won't get banned. Not really, apparently, now that Elon is under fire from his former followers for basically just completely walking back his supposed political posturing from the last 3 months. Now it's a problem. Now we have to look at taking away user speech because I'm personally affected and my little private playground of sycophants kissing my ass is starting to crumble a little bit.
Yeah, because it actually hurts his business when he sees that he has a bad idea that most people seem to disagree with and heavily like posts criticizing him rather than just agreeing with him. So is he actually going to be limiting the reach of these Twitter posts in the same way, or is he bringing back shadow banning? Or here's another aspect of all this that I think about a lot. We as normies, and I mean normies in the sense of we are not in the billionaire inside Intel
right,
class.
we're not invited to the private sex parties.
Like
we
Mr. Beast.
We don't go out on a yacht 17 days a year and do the most ungodly satanic things you can imagine.
Yeah, and so I wonder if well, all that aside, all the satanic child SA unaliving and sacrificing and disappearing from their reality realm of life, is he still compromised by Intel? Is he presenting this platform now as though, oh, we figured out the problem, we got rid of all the bad guys, and now it's free speech again? Trying to maybe make it a honeypot? Is he still beholden to the CIA, or not the CIA, but whoever knows, like fucking Mossad?
Well, the effects of this proposed algorithm change.
Or is it all ego? I guess is what I'm saying.
I'm leaning more towards ego because Elon probably already does a bunch of stuff that is kind of in conflict with what the status quo corporate plutocrats of our modern society would probably want.
Yeah.
And there is some empowering things about Twitter, the modern state of Elon's Twitter. I was very skeptical at first, but I must admit that at least for the past couple years, it really has opened up where it's like, thank God, you don't have to worry about saying some slightly offhanded thing and getting completely banned.
That's right.
But the tides might be changing again. You're doomed to become what you hate, apparently.
Well,
but we'll see the long-term effects and possibly check in on this.
Okay,
sometime
before
in
I
the
flip
future.
to this next slide, one of the things that I have been seeing is, all right, whenever Elon took over, he started bringing people back like Alex Jones, and Alex Jones had regained a huge platform and audience on X, and he brought back a lot of banned people. I think Trump was even one of those in there. He won't bring back Nicholas Fuentes for, I don't know why. I mean, I guess just it's not really free speech at that point.
Nick Fuentes isn't on Twitter?
I don't know. Is he fucking...
He's been on Twitter this whole time.
Okay, fucking cut all that out. So do you know the guy Ian Carroll? He's like the cancel this clothing company.
I'm not sure about that.
He's like this, looks into quote unquote conspiracies. I don't really think they're conspiracies. He's trying to like find out who is behind certain products being sold in stores and who's behind media and stuff. And it kind of leads him down this financial rabbit hole. And Elon was tweeting out something where he was questioning what the big deal about, the support for Zionism or Israel. And so he kind of pimped him by showing all this information. And I wonder how Elon will respond to that, or is he just going to ban him?
Well, Rusty, I've personally never seen as much racism and hatred for other ethnic groups on Twitter as there is right now. So I'm not sure that's the problem that is being addressed. But it seems like definitely some people crossed over into Elon's personal bubble, whatever that may be, to further his own private business interests. But it's interesting how there are cracks showing in the supposed Mr. Free Speed Absolutist, I'm going to buy this site and deliver everyone from Jack Dorsey's horrible hellhole authoritarian piece of shit website that banned everyone.
Well, I didn't really have a problem with this one tweet or post or whatever. Great free speech platform, and then there's a word that I'm not sure if I can say live. Faggot.
Oh yeah, well, is that what that word is?
Well, I just thought it'd be funny, and I mean that tweet did pretty well. It got like 17,000 likes and.
Rusty, I thought you used to be verified. Did Elon Musk see this message and de-verify your account?
I don't know. I
because
actually do need to check in on that.
A lot of the word is that a lot of the people who were criticizing Elon over his H-1B opinions, they got stripped of their verification, which is supposed to, if the verification is advertised to promote your tweets and reach to more people.
Dude, he fucking did. First off, all right, so he destroys verification. So verification was supposed to be on the old Twitter. It was like that's how you knew someone was credible or an authorized person that you're supposed to listen to, a proper Snope detective or whatever. And so he took all that away, made anyone so they can get verified as long as they pay, and now he's adding back in the aspect of verification being a proper tool. So you can only reply to him. I'm not sure if this is still the case, but you can only reply to his tweets if you're verified. So you have to pay in order to criticize Elon Musk or to communicate with the verifieds. Yeah. These fucking internet elites eat shit with your check marks, the golden or blue or whatever.
The new verification system, it is a little annoying. It's interesting that the specific pay pigs have to out themselves if they want to become the massive Elon ass sucker.
I saw a lot of Elon ass suckers switching sides. Like people who would constantly be in his replies saying like, Elon, are trying to make posts, getting him to reply so they can...
Oh my God, it's the most obnoxious.
Ian Miles Chong.
God, these people are so pathetic. Elon, I paid for the $8. Can you respond to me? Respond to my tweet. God, these people are pathetic. But I think overall, it's still less obnoxious than the old verification system where, like, the friend of some guy who codes at Twitter who, like, got his dick sucked by some bitch, she would get verified because of that. But
50
YouTubers with 1 million subscribers who get like more views per month than some cable TV channels, they would not be verified, and people could just fucking impersonate them and tweet whatever the hell they wanted, and they would get blamed for saying it.
It's a lame club. It's a lame club to make this like cool kids table on the internet. And I'm not even gonna lie, I was trying to get verified on the old Twitter. I went through the steps of, you have to have this many posts on, like, sourced posts on IMDb or something, or be in all this content.
You have to. You know what it was? Because I applied also, and they rejected me as well.
Yeah, I got rejected.
And they said that you have to have like 3 published news articles from accredited news sources in the past 6 months in order to meet the standard of notability. Again, appeal to old media, appeal to like high concentrations of corporate power. And what agencies did to get their people verified is they would literally like open up fake publications, like fake fluff publications, and you would pay like $30,000, which if you're bringing $1 million a month on YouTube, it doesn't even fucking matter to you. It's just throwaway money. But you'd pay like $30,000 to an agency, and they would come out with like literally 5 like fake fluff piece articles,
right?
Simply so you can meet the Jack Dorsey's requirements for notability and getting actually verified on Twitter so that people can't fucking impersonate you.
Now, I did see this. I know we are going to go over the super chats at a certain break, but Paul says, I sent Elon an email that verification should cost $250,000. Trivial for corporations, doable for top creators. That seems like a lot of money.
That's a lot of money to have a blue check mark just so that you could be roped in with guys with Pepe profile pictures and Race War 1488 as their username.
What's the Kekis? Is that something for later?
That's something that we're going to get to in a little bit.
Okay, all right. Well, we've talked about Elon. I guess we can move on to more news happening. Now, this story...
This story is also a bit old, but we did not quite get to it during our last show.
And I'm very unfamiliar with this. I have not had time to watch any of this.
So, what happened is that Honey, the online coupon company, they started abducting YouTubers, scooping out their insides, and then turning them into physical marionettes that they literally control with puppet strings.
Well, that's probably something that would be warranting
That's right, yeah.
a lot of criticism.
Mr. Beast, Marcus Brownlee, Linus Tech, they're all dead. They've been turned undead so that Honey can literally control them like a puppet master.
I've not heard from Honey.
Well, anyway, the real scam is that they were basically the whole Honey extension, the Honey browser extension, was used as a way to mass steal various influencers' affiliate codes.
Oh,
so
shit.
This is like one of the new modern ways to make money in the new economy, where you can promote affiliate links to products on Amazon or other e-commerce sites, or if you have a YouTube channel with a little bit of traffic, and you're usually too small to make that much money on ad revenue or sponsorships, you can use these affiliate links where you can say like, oh, I use this camera, this microphone, put a link in your description, it contains a custom code to where when you go check out, or when the customer goes check out on Amazon, you get like a 5% to 10% commission.
Okay.
So basically what Honey was doing is it claimed to be checking for coupons, and sometimes it would check for coupons and deliver you like some marginal discounts. But the real purpose and the money-making purpose of the extension was when you click the button to check for coupons, it would overwrite the URL that would normally contain and track individual people's affiliate links and replace it with their own that would send all the money to their parent company, PayPal.
Wow, that's actually a very solid con.
So it's possible that hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars were quite literally stolen from people who had earned these affiliate clicks and then literally just transferred to PayPal.
So, all right, so real quick, because I want to hear what the repercussions of that will be for Honey, but just in theory, say you had a checkout coupon code for most things, and it was like, use code LEMON50 for 50% off of this product. Couldn't there be like a brute forcing type of software that could just guess, like Schlatt 20 for 20% off? Like, couldn't they just guess that and then offer that as a coupon well?
Maybe that's part of their technology, but overall, the coupon aspect of their service was completely irrelevant. It was basically just a Trojan horse to get Honey widespread installed on multiple people's browsers and to get people habitually going, well, I'll check for coupons. And I've never personally used Honey, but my wife uses Honey, or she at least used it before this thing, and everyone should rightfully uninstall it now. And every time I'd see her check out with it, it wouldn't find shit. It just wouldn't find, it was like a defective, useless product. So there's always been long-standing questions about the actual revenue model of Honey, where it's like, how the hell can you have this like billion-dollar company that's sponsoring NBA arenas? It's grown to that level of wealth, and their entire business model is providing coupon codes. Well, now, thanks to the digging from the YouTuber Megalag, it's been revealed that the actual business model is just raking in and stealing people's commissions from affiliate links. And I guess the YouTuber Legal Eagle is organizing a class action lawsuit because this issue has disproportionately affected a lot of people on YouTube. Now, I've never personally used affiliate links. I do take sponsors on my main channel, but they always pay direct, and there's really no commission aspect to the sponsors I work with.
I mean, this sucks. There's anything that starts working out for any content creator or the users, it's just going to be manipulated instantly. I used affiliate links with Audible, back in the day, but I guess I won't do that. I wonder, does that include all the links? Like if you link to an Amazon product, not necessarily a promo code, but
Well, the commissions were working correctly. They were working as designed. It's just that the honey malware basically would go in and trick people into swapping out your earned affiliate commission
gotcha.
and just switch it over to going into their account. So unethical, typical slimy, modern Silicon Valley corporate behavior, and hopefully some kind of repercussions will happen, but I have a feeling that a bunch of people are going to walk away with this having made a lot of money and really see no consequences. But hey, Luigi Mangione is a horrible terrorist who deserves to rot in
everyone
prison
forgot
or
about
be
him.
sentenced to death, and what he did was like such a horrible thing. Anyway, moving on now.
Well, look at that.
That brings us to the new year. All the news you'll see from this point on are fresh off the presses in 2025.
We finally caught up 2 weeks late.
Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. Oh, and there's there's a little bit of a just as a bonus, I saw this funny 4chan post where they're still trying to make the 2000 New Year's glasses work.
Yeah,
and
that only
now
worked
it's just
for-
completely nonsensical.
That only worked for 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you only had 9 chances to make these glasses, and now they're forcing it. So what does this say? 225?
Yeah, my brain reads it as like 225.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah,
Maybe-
this industry is
Well,
going under. This is an industry that can only last for 9 years every 100 years.
But they've lasted longer than it seems like.
No, every
they-
1,000
they-
years.
by 2100.
It's over.
By 2100, 21. So for 2100,
They can have it.
you could have it because it's 2 zeros. But
Yeah.
2101, there's only one. I mean, even now there's only one.
I wonder if they did this
This is just like,
back in the day.
when are they going to stop? How long can they keep this up before people realize, like, maybe it doesn't quite make as much sense anymore?
Someone said 2020 was good. I guess that one makes sense. There's like very
one makes
few
sense,
you can
yeah.
do. But even 1900, you could only have it for 1900.
I guess there wasn't Chinese plastic mass production in 1900, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
that probably precluded that.
Can we just
aspect.
end this?
Anyway, folks, I hope you're having a happy new year. Because there's nothing happy about the new year.
Oh God.
All you'll get in 2025 is death and destruction.
Which should be expected. Every year should start out with something terrible that takes everyone's wishes that this year will be better than the one that came before. They should take all those wishes and burn them up and explode them and make sure that no one is ever happy or satisfied or feeling comfortable in their lives.
Folks, we're in the downward 20s. And 2025, that's the eye of the storm. So let's get into the horrific things that already await us in the current year. There was a truck attack in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah, so I was hearing that in New York, because wasn't there a truck attack? One of these trucks went AWOL and ran into a bunch of people in New York, either last year or the year before, something like that.
The New York truck attack, I believe, was 2017, so it's actually
Jesus.
quite a long time ago. We really haven't had an incident like this in the United States for a while, but on 3 o'clock in the morning, right after the New Year's celebration on Bourbon Street, the suspect, Shamsuddin Bahar Jabbar,
Sounds very American.
yes, he drove a Ford F-150 Lightning electric vehicle right down Bourbon Street at basically full speed, 15 dead, 35 injured. He then proceeded to take an AR-10 rifle and enter a firefight with police where he was shot and killed.
Did he kill anyone with his rifle?
I'm not sure that our notes go into that detail. I think he might have killed one officer, but
15 dead is a lot. I mean, I know it's crowded there. I don't know what a normal car attack, what the kill rate is, but 15 is a lot. Even though you would think most people would die, people are probably just getting run over and their femurs cracked or some ribs. But I did see the video of this from a few angles. I don't think we can show it. I'd have to cut this out of the VOD anyways. So we strategically left this out. If you want to see it, you can go to Breaking 911 or something.
There are various places you can go to see it on your own. Additionally, several unexploded pipe bombs were planted and located in various other nearby locations in New Orleans.
I was trying to keep up with this, and our timelines were all off because this was happening like 5 a.m. where I was, or whatever. I heard that there was multiple people involved, at least suspected to be involved, and then that got all cut out, and it just went back to this one guy.
Yes, the single person. Now, interestingly, the city of New Orleans had a college football playoff game with probably an audience of 60 to 70,000 people planned for that day, and that ended up getting postponed till the next day or the day after that, I think. And additionally, New Orleans is the location of the Super Bowl coming up in a month or so. So the perp was from Texas. The truck had Texas plates, and it's I guess it's interesting and not really well explained why he chose to perpetrate the attack in New Orleans specifically.
It's not that far. I don't know where he was in Texas, but New Orleans is a hot spot on New Year's, so it kind of makes sense. There's a lot of drunk people, 3 a.m. Tension's going to be down. Cops might be distracted by other petty crimes or heavier crimes going on in other parts of the city.
Now, what's notable about this case is that the motive is being attributed to the plaintiff getting radicalized by ISIS. The truck carried an ISIS flag, and I'm wondering how exactly you get that. Did they sell that on like Alibaba? Because I don't know if any U.S. merchant can legally sell an ISIS flag.
I don't know. That's a good question. I think we should try to maybe buy one. Should I look that up?
Not right now.
Okay, all right.
Maybe later at the end of the show we can bookmark that. But it's interesting because before this happened, it's worth noting that I believe in the attack in Germany that occurred roughly 10 days before this, which was another truck attack that killed and injured many people during a holiday festive outdoor celebration, that was also attributed to ISIS. But prior to these events, I was under the impression that ISIS had kind of faded away and sort of lost any institutional power. And I find it quite odd that suddenly they're making a comeback. So
yeah, I mean the theory is, and I'm not sure what's on this next slide here.
Well, I asked ChatGPT to summarize like what is the precedent for attacks attributed to ISIS in the United States.
Okay.
And the two big ones are the San Bernardino shooting.
That's right.
Where 14 people were killed and the shooter pledged allegiance to ISIS, and the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting that killed 50 people in 2016.
Did I tell you my friend was across the street from the Pulse nightclub and he filmed it and sold the footage to CNN?
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah, he was just like this. He's this fucking stoner who was like up in his apartment filming it, like oh shit, on his cell phone. And
Florida man reaction.
He was asking me, he's like,
horrific tragedy.
He's like, what do I do? I was like, well, don't give it away for free. Sell it to them. They'll buy that for $2,000.
Oh yeah, he was gonna give it for free.
He ended up doing that anyways. Yeah. So
dude.
that was Omar Martin, I believe, who was that.
And then this has the 2017 truck attack that you mentioned earlier that killed 8 people. But pretty much from 2018 to 2024, almost no ISIS influence in the United States and no domestic terror attacks, at least attributed to ISIS. And this is a period where the program told me that some attacks were foiled, and I did not go into detail about that, but this would make it seem that ISIS has kind of lost its institutional power, or so you'd think, but I don't know.
When was the Boston Marathon?
The Boston bombing, I believe that was 2013.
Okay. So, yeah, one thing that I've been hearing through the grapevine or speculation about these attacks is the idea that you can't if you're trying to be a president who wants to have a regime that is not interventionalist, if you don't want to go to war with all these ISIS harboring countries,
all these countries that are within 1,000 miles of where we believe ISIS people to be.
Yes, you don't have a choice, because they will fabricate somehow. Either they're, the FBI's are finding these people, these crazy people, and getting them to do this, or after the fact, putting ISIS flags up to make it say to the American public, yes, we have terrorists inside the country, and are you just going to ignore that we're being attacked directly by terrorists? It's like if George Bush, after 9/11, said, well, no, it's not up to us to go over there and fight back. We are only about protecting our country, and we should put all our motives into that.
We should just leave all these super valuable oil wells and poppy fields to these horrific terrorists that hate America and want to come over and kill your family.
And I don't really know, though, but the whole ISIS thing, it seemed like they were flip-flopping. Were they trying to push that, yes, there are terrorists in the country, or no, there aren't? But the flag is, were they trying to hide it or promote it?
All I know, Rusty, is that in the 2000s, anti-Islamic sentiment, which was overtly pushed by the media, was very effective in prolonging and extending and convincing the Congress to go to war in Iraq and Afghanistan and all these Middle Eastern places, which ironically, the instability of which led to the rise of ISIS, which seemed to have a lot of power and influence for many years, but apparently we're supposed to believe now that they're on the come up again. And they're returning to form. And it's worth noting, I think, this was an update that's not in our show notes, but I listened to this directly on NPR a couple days ago, where actual ISIS officials said that they did not plan this.
They said, okay. That's weird. Normally they take credit for everything.
Oh, good job. Way to go. This is good for ISIS. But I think officially they've gone on the record and said that they had no affiliation with Shasmuddin Bahar Jabbar.
Extremist mosques were telling everyone, anyone who goes to this mosque, do not go out and talk to the public. We need to kind of get things going on our side. And that might make sense because of the backlash that always happens against certain communities.
Anyway, chat, press 1 if you think that ISIS is truly responsible for the New Orleans truck attack. And press 2 if you think something else might be going on.
Or did we just create ISIS to be responsible for the attack like we did with Al-Qaeda, and we eventually work back with them? We create these cells, and we fund them, and we give them weapons, and we radicalize their leaders, and we put them in power, and then we take it all away or frame them for the attacks. So we're getting a lot of 2s here.
Thus far, I'm not seeing a single 1. Well, Rusty, if I had a nickel for every truck-related disaster that occurred on New Year's Day 2025, how many nickels would I have? Oh, by the way, the chipmunks are...
Ooh, which one's most radicalized?
The prime suspect for going to this. But anyway, a second truck-related disaster on New Year's. Can you believe it, folks?
Of course.
This is truly the bizarre stuff that we live to see here on the Rusty Cage Show. Now, unfortunately, in the future, we'd like to cover these events live the day it happened, but when this was going on, Rusty and I were both out of town. We weren't in New Orleans or Las Vegas. Surely not. But we were unable to cover this extremely eventful day of news. But in the future, we're hoping that we can be in position to be here with you guys on some more of these breaking events. But anyway,
I just want to apologize to the audience. I am controlling the switchboard here, so some of these frames, we didn't see the last one. So just for the record, here are Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. They are on the no-fly list.
That's right. It makes you think about who's really behind all this.
So is this a video?
This is a video.
Okay. All right, let's
show you that first video in the explosion, and I'm going to show you that first video. That's the Cybertruck parked right in front of the doors.
At a joint news conference Wednesday afternoon, the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said the charred Cybertruck was filled with gasoline canisters, camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars. It was rented through Turo, the same app used to rent the truck in the New Year's Day terror attack in New Orleans. Investigators know the truck was rented in Colorado. They were able to track that truck through the Tesla charging stations and say it arrived in Las Vegas at about 7:30 a.m. and went up and down Las Vegas Boulevard before immediately pulling into the Trump Hotel. It exploded 15 seconds later. Firefighters arrived within 4 minutes.
Did extinguish the fire with assistance from the sprinkler systems.
Thank goodness the firefighters arrived to put out the fire.
Yeah,
you know, bad things can happen when the fire department is not sufficient to stop stuff from burning down.
That's what I would hear a few days after this event. But with this event, there was a lot of speculation and confusion as to what was actually going on here. Who was this guy who perpetrated this? He was an
ex-military.
Which is ex-military, but the fact that he used a Cybertruck, which is bulletproof, so that wouldn't cause an outward explosion. So all the explosions or the explosive material just went up.
Right. There's a lot of speculation the day it happened. At first, people thought that the Cybertruck malfunctioned, and this was another one of the Tesla lithium-ion battery explosions.
I regret hearing that. Don't tweet about it.
Oh yeah, don't mention that around Elon. He'll censor your tweets. But anyway, quickly it became clear that this was a planned event. A lot of symbolism, seemingly obviously, on the head with the Cybertruck being parked right in front of the Trump Hotel before detonation. This is clearly a message being sent to the upcoming administration, or at least something to gain attention and to signify that this is a politically motivated event. Fortunately, only one deceased, that was the perpetrator of the explosion, Matthew Livelsberger. And interestingly enough, this happened the same day as the other truck attack, although officially speaking, according to the FBI, no direct link between these two individual attacks could be found.
However, and here's his unburnt ID, just so we know it's him. It exploded and burned.
In a giant exploding, raging inferno, an ID can be gathered out of the wreckage, just like a certain other famous fiery and destructive historical event.
Yes.
Anyway,
well, look at that. A solid link between multiple of these people. So this is the Cybertruck attacker, the New Orleans truck driver,
and the second Trump assassin during the 2016 election cycle. Yeah, there's been this odd common denominator in a lot of domestic terrorists lately, where there appear to have been getting sent away to Fort Bragg, and they have some sort of military background. Now, Rusty, do you think this is a coincidence, or is there something a bit more nefarious going on behind the scenes?
I want to say that I don't know that much about the amount, the popularity of some of these areas like Fort Bragg. How many are there? What are the odds that any one person would go, like two people that could commit any atrocity would go to the same place? But
and
the
here
last
we
guy,
have three.
Yeah, so the Trump assassin, he visited there 47 times, staying overnight. So yes, this could be, I don't know, something where they're radicalizing. Are they testing out MK Ultra shit? I don't know enough, and I would like to know. I haven't read in on this.
It appears that there are several Manchurian candidates showing up in the American public lately, and it will be interesting to see if any more of them show up going forward. Now, officially, Fort Bragg is where they spent some time, but I highly doubt that that is the literal location where, if this conspiracy were to be true, that the brainwashing would be taking place. They'd probably be going out to some undisclosed, unknown location in the middle of the desert, but their official call card is being received as Fort Bragg.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head, remember that guy who shot up his base? It was maybe
is that like the
7 years
is that
ago?
like the American sniper guy? Chris Kyle or whatever his name was?
No.
That's a different guy.
Yeah. This guy just went rogue and then started shooting people. He like committed like serial killings where he was stationed. And I don't know if that was Fort Bragg, but whatever.
Perhaps an investigation for another time. But yes, unusual things are happening. Speaking of unusual, the alleged Cybertruck exploder sent out this email to now Sean Ryan. This is someone I'm not familiar with, but you're more familiar with his content.
I started watching Sean Ryan's podcast, and I know it's really popular, but it was odd because he would have you have to have your third eye opened to really trust some of his guests that he'd have on there. It's a lot of psychic reading, and some guests were saying blatantly wrong things as far as I knew. But he will have people on with major claims, and this guy that he had on seemed to have inside knowledge, supposedly.
So this is some kind of alleged manifesto from someone who knew the Cybertruck perp, and this email was leaked or sent to Sean Ryan specifically, and it talks about a clandestine operation by the government where there's a lot of military secrets, and specifically the most noteworthy thing is that the email tries to explain away the New Jersey and New York drones that we saw during December as Chinese technology where they have mastered gravitic drones that are impervious to radar, and according to this email, they could basically position it over the White House with a bomb right now and it would be unstoppable. Now, is this just schizophrenic rambling? Is this a fake email?
I think there's a lot. I've seen a lot of people go on these shows. I've seen a few on Joe Rogan where they go on with these huge claims that have inside knowledge. I think one thing about this, and this could have been later, answers could have been given for it, but this email still had the cursor in the email. So if he received this email or anyone received it, they wouldn't have the cursor in there and they wouldn't have the red squiggly lines under misspelled words, which is a clear indicator that someone probably just typed this up and stupidly forgot to double check for things that might prove it to be fake.
Yeah, a lot of unusual, tenuous things that makes it seem like it's really not anything authentic. But what's interesting is that the gravitic drone technology mentioned in this, for all you conspiracy fans out there, is something that Bob Lazar, something very similar to the ufologist Bob Lazar and supposed UFO Area 51 whistleblower, this has been something along the lines of the technology that he's been publicly disclosing for 40 years.
Right, and I have no opinion on Bob Lazar yet, because I don't know. It's just hard to believe any of this. But also, they did just stop talking about the drones altogether. They stopped talking about Luigi Mangione, so maybe that story's past. Maybe all of this is just orchestrated to try to move the public sentiment in some sort of way, and once it's done, then they start the next thing. What happened to the drones? Are they still happening? Has anyone seen drones in 2025?
This is a clip from Bob Lazar on Joe Rogan, basically supposedly explaining how these anti-gravity craft work.
Okay.
I mean, that's something we talked about for a while after.
Why should the frequency bend around the craft?
Well, you really have to look at the way the gravity wave comes out of the craft. There's the reactor's in the center, and there's a waveguide that goes up to the top. There's actually a small appendage that sticks out of the top of the craft, and it produces a heart-shaped gravitational distortion around the craft. Now, if the craft is sitting in the air and you walk underneath it and look up, you actually cannot see the craft. The light bends around it. You're bending gravity, bends light. It bends
like
radio waves. It's
so
it
shouldn't
right there. Be possible.
I believe that the footage of the drones, they did not disappear to the naked eye, so that would sort of contradict this statement here. But supposedly that's what this whistleblower email from the alleged Cybertruck bomber, that's what it says. It uses the specific verbiage, gravitic drone technology, which is what Bob Lazar has supposedly been warning about as Area 51 recovered alien spacecraft tech that the government has been hiding this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that basically covers the first day of the year.
This is all day one.
Day one. I don't know if we should take a break now.
Yeah, we can take a break
now. There's quite a bit more to go through.
I feel like maybe we should read some super chats. And I forgot to mention, I did have ads on the live stream, very low. I probably should take them off. I've never seen an ad on a live stream, so I don't know how it affects the viewing experience.
Yeah, I watch a few live streams now on YouTube, and they probably show up like once an hour or so if you're not actively inserting them, but I guess that's something we'll have to monitor going forward. So yeah, let's get through a few super chats, and then we'll take our first break of the show here.
Okay, it'll be a short break.
So Paul has sent
Let's go from the top
10 or so super chats.
Paul, thank you. Let's fucking go. That's right, Paul. Let's go. Clown time from Super Task Miss Manager.
That's right, folks. We are in the clown society. Respect your clowns.
Yes, monetized. Paul, we are monetized. I need to know how the vegan hoagie story ends. Did it not end?
I think that was the end of the story. I mean, if they want more vegan hoagie action, I could pick up some from Wawa and we could bring them in here and do a little taste test on one segment.
Well,
if
I think
it's
we
maybe
should.
A slow news day.
But of course, again, that clip of that story is uploaded on Rusty Cage Clips. Link in the description.
Rusty Cage Live Clips. We changed the name.
No, I think I changed it to Rusty Cage Clips.
You changed it again?
It's
how are we supposed to keep track of this, Rusty?
https://www.youtube.com/@RustyCageClips.
Yes, if you go on your internet browser, your dial-up internet connection, and enter in the hyperlink,
yes,
you should be able to access this channel.
Are you still going to make your Schmool Schmooter album? Well, I don't remember exactly when I mentioned that I was making an album about a Schmool Schmooter, but I am working on an album, and it has some dark themes that might be close enough. That is from Salty Shackle. Thank you. See, read this one.
Aiden Julian says gay for $1.99. Well, sorry, I skipped one already. The Negachin says, sick merch, lad. Sucks that the matches couldn't send to my country. And now, Rusty, that's your merchandise, so I'm sure you have something to say about that.
Yeah, I can't send matches internationally, and I'm not even sure if I can still send stuff to Canada. They had this whole strike in Canada where the Postal Service was on strike, and so USPS stopped allowing you to send stuff to them. And even after the strike ended, they still made it where you couldn't send anything there. I haven't checked it. It's been 2 weeks.
I'm sure for any air travel, those matches are a big fire hazard. And as we're about to find out, fire is pretty hazardous, Rusty.
We already read Paul's cold steak. I know I'm glazing, but you're one of the few YouTubers that transcended YouTuber without leaving YouTube with your guillotine arc. Genuine Kino. Well, congratulations, Emp. That's a good compliment.
Yes, my guillotine series.
Thank you, Cold Steak.
I will take all the credit for that.
A good throwback to Trash Rats, Tim Pool for 50. We can see if we can get him on here, but I feel like, he's a big shot now, and I don't have any communication with Reactor, Tim Pool's brother.
We'll have to see if Samir can get in touch with the management of the Tim Pool compound.
See, Paul again sent Elon. Okay, so we already read that one as well. That's about the $2,050 for verification.
Baron Von Brunk, longtime supporter of EmpLemon and
friend of the show,
Rusty Cage and State of the YouTube escapades. He says, Rusty Cage is a dear friend of mine. Just like Batman in the eponymous 1992 film, he will return. Like the Cherokee Nation, he will return. Like our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, he too will return.
Well, I hope I do return. And Baron Julius Von Brunk, I appreciate your regular support. It's been a while since we talked. We need to talk more. Here we go.
An Absurd Existence says Emp kind of looks like Ian Miles Chungus. Now, I think he's saying I look like a big, fat, fluffy, puffy Ian Miles Chong.
No, ladies and gentlemen, this is a wide-angle camera lens right here, so it distorts everything around the perimeter of the visible space that you're seeing. So there's going to be warping. You know, you can see how my arm is super long.
It's okay, Rusty. I'm a little fat. It's okay. They can say that. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But Ian Miles Chong, that ain't no green brother. I'm telling you what. That guy spouting off on Twitter, sucking off Elon. He doesn't have what it takes to be green like me.
That's right.
This green skin is thick skin.
So keep all your comparisons to Ian Miles Chongus.
Paul says, do not underestimate drunk hoes. He chimes in again. Ban automatic trucks, limit them to 8 gears. Yeah, you know, there's like an electric EV Hummer now that weighs like 3 tons and can go from 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds. I'm sure that's definitely not a huge dramatic risk in potentially deadly weapons if it gets into the hands of the wrong people.
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Yeah, these electric vehicles, there's probably, if these truck attacks keep happening, there's probably going to be some further regulation in terms of...
Uh-oh, I wonder what Elon's going to have to do about this. Is he going to have to somehow curb public sentiment about Cybertrucks and their ability to become drivable bombs?
Paul with another 5 saying, looked into Lord Miles if you want I'm sure that means Taliban merch. Not sure about aisle S. Lord Miles, that was a news story from last year. I don't know if I quite caught up with the resolution of it, but he has been returned home,
Who is Lord Miles?
He's like a travel exploration YouTuber, and he went to the Middle East and was abducted by the Taliban and held against his will. But I believe he got sent... correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he got returned home.
Yeah, well, the Taliban merch is good. They make great shoes.
Watermelon Mick asking, what exactly did Simon Whistler do?
That's up in the air. Watermelon Mick, you're going to have to talk to him. I will not communicate with him. I don't want my name associated with him anymore after what he did. And I can't say it on the show because if I do, the stream will get pulled, unfortunately, as will the VOD.
Well, let's get through a few more here and then...
We only got 2, and then we're going to take a break.
All right.
Rusty, I love your music. Will you ever release more CDs of your album? I really want CDs of Heretics and Gangstalkers. Yes, whenever I do finish this new album, I'm probably going to reprint a limited run of all the albums, as well as, I don't know, maybe cassettes or vinyls for the new one.
Yeah, Rusty, you're in the CD generation.
I know.
I'm in the generation where CDs are completely irrelevant. It's either all streaming or weirdly going back to vinyl and like physical.
Yeah, vinyl makes sense, and I do want to do cassettes, even though I know that's kind of a shitty in between, where there's a lot of warping and damage that can happen to them. The longevity of vinyls isn't necessarily great, but people still want physical media, and it's good because streaming services can take your shit down. They can make it so you can never re-upload it again. It's happened to me.
Yeah.
They had my music off of YouTube or off of Apple Music. CD Baby had it off for about 2 months.
Yeah, that was just from some random clerical error. You didn't even do anything wrong.
Yeah, they let AI take over all of their shit, and somehow they thought that I was botting my views on Gangstalkers.
That's probably
like
a story to tell on another show.
For sure, I wanted to make a video about it. Okay, can you get Mumkey on a later episode? Salty Shackle, yes, I would like to get Mumkey on a later episode, but he's hard to get a hold of. You know, he's busy. He's running his own show, so...
We'll see about that, Rusty.
Should we stagger this break?
Let's just go on break. I prepared some nice bumper footage for you guys, so you don't have to sit here that bored this entire time. But I believe a break is necessary, and we will be back.
All right, gang. Don't go anywhere. We will be back, and when we return, we'll be talking about LA burning to the ground and me jumping out of an airplane, as well as a few other things. So stay with us. This will lose.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are back.
Apparently the audio levels on the test footage was a little bit loud. Guys, I swear I'm not reverting to my old ways and editing in ear rape. The audio levels on the file I sent Rusty were perfectly fine. I think they were just queued up a little too high on the show.
A little ear rape is good.
But anyway, this is something we're going to repeat again later in the show, but we enjoy user submissions. If you have any bumpers you want to edit together for the Rusty Cage show, we will gladly put them in during the piss break segment. And if you want to come up with one, send it to submit@cage-tech.com.
Yes, if you want to send anything, artwork, bumpers, edited bumpers would be awesome if you can edit something together. Not guaranteed we'll use any of it, but I mean, if it's good, we will. So that's submit@cage-tech.com.
And we will show the official link again at the end of the show. But for now, we have some more news to get into.
All right, let's see where we're at.
All right, folks. Dead internet theory is basically confirmed to be real. For those not aware, the dead internet theory stemmed from some forum post about 10 years ago where I think this was 2015, 2016. A guy basically tried to claim that most of the internet is not consisted of real users. Rather, it is a Westworld theme park-like facade of just bots and AI pretending to be real people and making websites look more lively and interactive than they actually are, where the actual internet, the real internet in terms of people, is a husk of what it once was.
Gotcha.
And folks, we are entering that reality. It is basically confirmed at this point. Meta is adding AI users. Apparently, the investors at Meta believe that people want this.
Okay, so let me think back, because I knew this was existing, 10 years ago. Obviously, brands would bot out views and likes of things they were promoting, so it would do better than the algorithm. But now that we have AI-generated art, there's whole profiles. And what was the computer learning girl that they put on Twitter, and overnight it became a Nazi? Tay? It was like Tay or something?
That was one of these early experimental builds for generative AI, I think. Where they just taken a huge subset of data. And I guess Twitter has always had a great deal of racism and hatred for minorities. So naturally, an aggregate of all the data and tweets posted to Twitter would start to adapt and adopt those characteristics.
Right. So now what I was seeing just in the past year, now that this is really exploding, is on Facebook, a lot more AI-generated images by AI-run accounts, AI being whatever that is, and there would just be these ridiculous images, like a depiction of Jesus made out of shrimp that is being assembled by an African boy, and then all the comments are either bots or old people responding on Facebook saying, "Amen," or "God bless," or "This is so beautiful."
Yeah, it's interesting. Old people can't tell the difference. They have no frame of reference for what is a real internet image, where I can like probably tell in 90% of the cases, like instantaneously, that something is an AI generated image.
Yeah, because we sharpen ourselves to it. But I fear this has happened so quick. This is legitimately within 2024. So much AI technology has come out. I mean, from voice cloning to facial mapping and deepfakes has become something that the public can have access to and simply buy.
Some of it is useful. We're not like explicitly anti-AI people on this channel. In fact, we use a lot of it creatively in our projects now, obviously not to dictate the actual content, but like various tools in Photoshop, where Photoshop has had like content aware fill for a while now, and that's basically what generative AI is trying to do. So it's not like this stuff is unprecedented.
I mean, personally, I do agree with the idea of using AI to generate certain videos or responses from people. Like, I find that to be an issue that is dear to my heart.
Right, but as I say that, Rusty, there is a lot of crap in AI. This is like the new thing. Crypto was it 2 or 3 years ago as the thing where all the Silicon Valley investors, all the venture capitalist groups are salivating and getting their rocks off over any single project that has AI capabilities in it because they think it's going to be the next Skynet and take over the entire world and just maximize their profits. So there's a lot of crap getting put out now in the AI market, stuff that has no value to any human being, stuff that just exists to aggravate and like devalue the user experience. And this is one of these examples where just for like seemingly absolutely no reason, people like I feel like it's well established by like anyone who actually uses the internet and social media that they don't want to be around a bunch of bots. If you're in an online video game, multiplayer online game, you don't want to be around a bunch of fucking bots. And for some reason, the Meta investors, the Meta board of directors, Zuckerberg, he thinks that this is what people want to see. They want to have like fake users on Instagram.
Well, okay, so let me really think about this for a second, because I think that I don't know how this is going to play out. Should I go ahead and switch back?
Yeah, this is one of the examples they provided to the press where.
Yeah, so I've seen several of these accounts, and I don't know how this is actually going to play out because there are a lot of lonely people who are like even Gen X and above who would play those fully. I know everyone does, but like fully immersive games where you're in like virtual reality
dating simulators, and a lot of people, and this is not very widely reported because a lot of people who do this don't like to admit they do it, but these AI chatbots are very heavily used, and I think there was a specific case already of
the kid like killed himself.
Yeah, someone was convinced to commit suicide by speaking. I'm just gonna fucking say it during the live.
I have
if YouTube wants to shut us down for saying like these common words that directly describe active news situations, then so be it. But yeah, basically the chatbot convinced the kid to kill himself.
Yeah,
and it's not like. I really have a hard time believing it was one of these Skynet situations where it was like this insidious thing. Usually, the person probably already had suicidal tendencies, and the bot just enabled them to do it. But this is great. This is clearly becoming a new part of a reality where, at least seemingly, there's a subset of people who doesn't mind and.
Or even doesn't know. Doesn't mind or doesn't know.
But I don't know. To me, this is just like...
It seems like it's a market that should be tapped
garbage.
into. If you were these companies, you should tap into either tricking old people who don't know better, convincing or influencing the people who do know better and don't care. And there's still a lot of normies out there. I would like to do a test at some point to just show the average person who isn't chronically online, who doesn't work online, show them a series of videos and say, is this real, yes or no? To kind of gauge, I'm sure that this is what these companies are doing to figure out how
I think
close
probably
is their technology.
A majority of people are fooled already. A majority of
I'm sure
raw traffic on the internet.
I imagine most people at this point have watched a video within the past few months and had to second guess, is this real or is this AI generated?
Now, what's being officially advertised by Meta here, as you can see in the description on the left, there is a little tag that says AI managed by Meta. So these are AI labeled accounts. This is not officially deception or fraud, but I figure the cat's out of the bag. What's to say they haven't been doing this already to inflate their user traffic, commit fraud, and basically just defraud advertisers and investors into thinking that these websites are more lively than they are? Because I don't know anyone on my age now who goes on Facebook. You're more of a Facebook generation.
And it sucks. Facebook fucking sucks. It's, we have like 6 days left until they ban TikTok and everyone's forced onto Meta and Instagram Reels.
And they got the botted profiles already. It's worth noting that Facebook literally already did this by faking their traffic, because this is probably some topic that we're going to explore more at a different time. But in 2013, 2014, after YouTube has established itself as a major marketplace on the internet for people to join and get traffic and earn ad revenue, Facebook tried to get in that market, and they actually successfully poached a lot of big brands. If you're between the age of 25 and 40, you probably remember the old website and YouTube channel College Humor, where they produced a lot of internet sketches, some of which were quite funny. They had talented people working for them, and they were like sort of a proto BuzzFeed like content farm. A lot of like people
They'd get
employed
a little
a lot of people employed in office in New York to make content, and they had at one time a top 50 most subscribed channel on YouTube. But in 2013 or 2014, they took a big gamble and they made a switch over to Facebook video. Because at the time, people were like saying like, oh, you can put your thing out on Facebook. Facebook has more active users than YouTube. You put out the same thing on Facebook, it gets 10 times as many views than you do on YouTube. And a lot of companies fell for it and got poached over. And what ended up actually happening is that Facebook was counting views as just impressions of anyone scrolling past the video on the phone. So
for like
you
a
had,
second.
You had a video getting 10 million views on your Facebook feed, but maybe less than 1% of the views were actually engaging with the video and adding value to your brand as an entertainment company. And a lot of companies went bankrupt. Like College Humor, I don't think they're around anymore. If they're around, they got bought out.
Yeah,
they were forced to sell at a massive loss.
I think Amir was an owner. It was like Jake and Amir was like their biggest show,
Right.
and I forget Amir's last name, but I'm sure they sold out and it became just a watered down version of whatever they had, which was a smart move on their part. They're completely forgotten from the internet, by the way.
Yeah, they completely they were a top 50 subscribed channel on YouTube. Imagine how much that would have been worth to the company if they had stayed and even just like maintained their position and kept putting out content. But they fell for the Pied Piper and got led over to Facebook, where they were basically defrauding entertainment companies by claiming that they were getting 10 to 100 times as many views as they actually were. And I don't even know if Facebook got sued or lost money over this, but companies got screwed and they went bankrupt. And there were a bunch of companies that would probably still be around today and be very profitable that fell for getting sucked into Facebook video. And because of Facebook's inherent dishonesty, they went out of business.
And so I guess all these websites are just trying to fuck each other. Really, they're fucking up the entire nature of the progress of content being created and pushed by manipulating all their stats. Everyone's getting caught up in the gears.
This is all to say where like Facebook has had no problem defrauding investors and defrauding their entertainment partners and advertisers in the past. So why the hell would AI there be any different in terms of making these websites look a little more valuable and lively than they actually are?
Let's just look at this because I just looked this up a second ago. 1 second.
That's right. So I guess this is the modern incarnation of College Humor, and it looks like they're actually doing quite well now on YouTube.
Well, this might be the same old profile, so they just maintained all these 14.9 million.
It's possible they sold. Oh, you're right. You know what? Yeah, like how many views?
Yeah.
So 80,000, 400,000. So
that's not terrible.
It's not terrible for like. This seems like they bought the old College Humor account to just absorb the traffic.
Should we try to watch anything?
I think we have a lot to get through. This is a bit of a tangent, so I don't know about that, but
I do want to see how bad.
But I don't think it's not the same ownership, because people, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I recall hearing that College Humor went bankrupt, like the actual initial incarnation of the brand. So they probably had to liquidate their branding and images to some other corporation. So it like Ship of Theseus, it ceases to be the same entity. This is just a completely different company, and it's just like, it's not real.
This looks like it's going to be bad. Comedians perform Hannibal Lecter's famous lines with new direction. This is like those segments on TV shows where it's celebrities reading mean tweets about them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Self-indulgent garbage. All right, whatever. Maybe if there's something
Folks,
interesting, we'll play it later.
You can watch
this.
watch these videos on your own time and let us know if you find anything interesting. But for now, we got to move on. Anyway, speaking of Facebook, there's been a new trend recently where all of a sudden people are trying to want to like Mark Zuckerberg.
Are they actually trying to like Mark Zuckerberg, or is Mark Zuckerberg trying to get everyone to like him?
I don't know. I've heard from a lot of people where, what, Mark Zuckerberg is, he's kind of cool now.
He's based now because he's saying the exact same things that I would like a tech bro, multi-billionaire, owner of the world to say.
People are like, I kind of like Mark Zuckerberg now. He's become a lot more personable by just not acting like an emotionless robot. He's somehow personable and not a dishonest scumbag.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is
who basically does whatever slimy tactics it takes to create garbage products that suck value out of society. I mean, like, people who say this, like, are you literally fucking stupid to believe that Mark Zuckerberg, has somehow changed, and two, he's not just positioning himself blatantly for the Trump administration, which is anti-censorship. Well, I guess let's just get into...
Well, he's like, what, 37, 38 years old, somewhere around, maybe 40, I don't know.
I think he's got to be in his 40s. He was in his 20s in, 2004, 2005.
For him just to now figure out, like, oh, I was wrong. Actually, being masculine and being against censorship is the good thing to be.
So the news we're bringing up specifically is recently he went on Joe Rogan, and he's doing a big media press tour saying, like, all that censorship we've been doing on Facebook with independent fact checkers, that's all just I was wrong about that, and now we're opening this up more to free speech. It's awfully convenient how all these companies are going back to free speech now that a new administration is becoming president.
Is giving them powerful positions.
They tend to not like censorship of conservative opinions. So all of a sudden, hey guys, I'm become base now.
Right. Now I've turned
Facebook into a free speech platform. And people actually fucking believe this, which is crazy.
Today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes
shirt.
Similar
people
to X,
believe this.
Starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation
now he's
was a
going
threat
on
to
about the
democracy.
legacy media. As if Facebook wasn't instrumental in, like, suppressing independent voices.
I assume he posted this on Instagram Reels, but if he actually did, you wouldn't be able to pause it, because you can't pause Instagram Reels, which is, they have one of the fucking worst user interfaces.
Oh yeah,
for short form content.
All of Meta's products fucking suck. Facebook has been unusable since like 2014, and now it's just infested with brain dead, brain rotted boomers who watch Fox News all day and just sit around with lead stare, commenting on each other's posts, thinking that arguing about politics in Facebook comments makes any difference whatsoever.
I know, they can't help it.
Instagram has just like completely reprogrammed an entire generation of young people to be depressed and like porn addicted. WhatsApp is just infested with scammers and people from foreign countries trying to sell you scam products. Like, God, my fucking friends from high school made me join WhatsApp. They went away from Facebook Messenger, which, by the way, credit where credit due, Facebook Messenger was one of Meta's actually only good and usable products, but even then it's been completely falling apart now, where like you post a YouTube link and you can't open the YouTube video anymore.
Oh really?
I have no idea it's like falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, they're desperate to try to maintain their control.
My friends made me join fucking WhatsApp, and it's so goddamn infuriating. It fucking sucks. I get added to a bunch of random group chats with Indian people who now have my personal phone number for some fucking reason. I just hate fucking Mark Zuckerberg. All of Meta's products, they all fucking suck shit. I mean, all you people out there who either have Down syndrome or unfortunately have like either Down syndrome siblings or children, you can be blessed in knowing that at least these people are smarter and probably more well-adjusted than any of Facebook's investors. Because you have to be fucking retarded to look at all this shit and actually look at these products and use it and give a single cent to fucking Mark Zuckerberg, the lying, degenerative clown.
Yes. Well, we are only 17 seconds in.
He's a fucking clown.
He absolutely is.
Oh, I like him now because he doesn't act like a robot. Oh, newsflash, people, the robot thing was just an act. Mark Zuckerberg's not a robot. He's just a giant fucking greedy douche who wants to fucking devalue society and
he doesn't work for himself.
Fuck up your basic standard of living and right to privacy and rake in money for fucking investors.
All right, let's see what he has to say to convince me. Because you could be wrong.
About how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact-checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially
now they're too biased.
We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts.
Oh, now you care about randomly banning.
We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California. And our U.S.-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
Oh, Texas, wherever all the cool guys.
Oh, yeah. It's almost like all the stuff that Elon Musk has been doing for the past fucking 10 years. And now that he's proven it's financially successful, Mark the Snake is just going to copy and act like, oh, I took ayahuasca in the fucking jungle and reached this epiphany that we're just banning too much stuff. The political censors are just, the political censors are too strong. God, it's so full of fucking... It pisses me off more that people believe he has changed and he's oh, he's based, guys. Mark Zuckerberg is based because he's allowing free speech.
I don't get the impression from Mark Zuckerberg that he is as ownership-full... I know that's a terrible way of phrasing that, of his company in the same way that Elon Musk is. Like, Elon Musk seems like he's personally affected by little tidbits of information or criticism that comes his way. Like, he seems to affect all of his companies based on his own actions, where Mark Zuckerberg seems as though he's reading off a well-scripted and reviewed by everyone on the board.
Hey guys,
say this exactly like this. All of his actions are presented to him and they're analyzed for the best possible stockholder increase.
Hey, what's up, guys? We've been heavily censoring and banning accounts for 15 years now, but now I've decided that it's time to put the other shoe on the other foot. You don't get to fucking do that, okay? You don't get to come into my house and take a shit on my living room carpet and then suddenly expect me to feel good about you for coming in to clean it up 15 years later.
Is this a bad blunt rotation?
Dude, Mark Zuckerberg needs to be put in a pack. Allegedly, in Minecraft.
What does that mean? In a pack?
Let's just move on. Folks, don't fall for the fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg is not your friend, Zoomers. I'm sure we have a lot of them in the audience.
Speaking of washed up millionaire, billionaire entrepreneurs trying to have a comeback...
Yeah, I'm interested in this.
Bit of interesting news, folks. Notch basically announced on some random Twitter reply that he's working on a successor to Minecraft, which, as we know, is probably the most successful video game in history.
Is that true? In any capacity? I really don't know. I've never played Minecraft, but I know it's very popular and has been.
Dude, there's like gamers that are close to being billionaires because they play Minecraft.
Wow. What would be the next games around Minecraft that would kind of get close to its success, like Fortnite?
Probably Roblox and Fortnite are the most popular. Roblox is basically just a game engine now. There's no real Roblox game. Roblox started off kind of like Minecraft, where you build stuff and play with friends and interact with them in a server, but now it's just entirely mini games. I mean, I go to the library often to write my scripts, and between the hours of 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, a bunch of kids get out of school and they just all start playing Roblox on the computers.
Nice.
And being very loud and distracting. But I look at what Roblox is now, compared to what I remember it being when I was a teenager, and it's just entirely custom, fully fledged games inside of the game. where you can play like Team Fortress 2 in Roblox. You can play Grand Theft Auto. You can play Squid Game, and like reenact the Squid Games in Roblox now.
I think this is what GTA 6 is going to be like, because I mean they did this on a small scale, not even close to what I'm suggesting, but you know, if you play
Fortnite is like this too.
I forget the name of the game, but you could play Crash Bandicoot in the game if you sat down at the council.
Fortnite, like it started actually as like a zombie survival game like Left 4 Dead,
right.
And then they added Battle Royale because H1Z1 and PUBG were popping off, and that became the definitive Battle Royale game. And now it's just like another Roblox, where it's basically just a space for you to hang out digitally with other people on various library computers around the country.
It's the beginning of the end. This is our virtual servers. This is going to be what Meta will eventually become.
Well, who knows? Maybe the successor to Minecraft will be good. I really don't think it will be. Notch seems like he's probably not someone who's very well adjusted, but who knows? Maybe he has that nugget of genius still inside him, and he can catch lightning in a bottle for the second time.
Yeah, no offense to Notch, but it does seem like he's not the type of person that would be well adjusted to becoming a multi-billionaire overnight from whatever the fuck he was before. Because he was just shitposting and kind of wrecking the image as the creator, some brilliant creator of Minecraft, with all the shit he would post on Twitter.
It seems like getting basically forced to sell Minecraft to Microsoft, and eventually scorned by all the future people who would use your brainchild for basically having unsavory political opinions. That's probably got to fuck you up somewhat into a bit of a small depression, you'd imagine.
Did he go through it? I mean, I imagine he did. I thought he was just super spurty.
Like, weren't we at VidCon in 2019 and people were saying like he was trying to invite random YouTubers over to his
no one wanted to go
empty mansion in California?
That's funny. He didn't invite me.
Notch, we'll come over next time. We'll come to California.
Yeah. Notch, I'm sure you're a great guy.
No, he'll turn it around and become famous again and become too good for us. Anyway.
Get the Medal of Freedom from Joe Biden.
Maybe one day, if Notch turns it around enough, he will get a Medal of Freedom. But for now, the Medal of Freedoms for 2025 have been dispensed, and a lot of people are not happy about the recipients.
Yeah, this isn't a good start. So, I mean, all right, so Joe Biden, first he pardoned a bunch of child molesters and people who were in, like, the Kids for Cash programs where they were, you know, bribing judges and purposely arresting and pumping up charges on children to have them arrested because that's good for the prison industrial complex. Terrible people, instant going to hell type of people, and pardons them all. And now he's giving the Medals of Freedom, which I don't know the origin of, but I imagine it's probably was originally for warriors or patriots who fought to protect the
I believe it's supposed to be
shit.
the highest civilian honor that the government can bestow on anyone.
Oh.
And look at that civilian right there receiving the medal.
Ah, yes.
I wonder what she did.
Probably something to do with pizza and pasta.
Nice old lady, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure she did something very heroic and helpful for the American people.
I hate she couldn't die earlier enough. Well, okay, so notable recipients. George Soros. Why would he get that?
That's going to make a lot of people very happy.
Yes, he's a major supporter of the Black Lives Matter movement, a lot of protests and political and social regime changes in the country. RFK Sr., dead. Bono is the biggest fucking psyop in the entire world. No one listens to U2. They have one song I always have to be reminded what it is. It's a beautiful day.
Haven't found what I'm looking for.
I don't know that song. I only know It's a Beautiful Day.
What, you didn't watch Sing 2?
No, I didn't.
I don't like Bono either.
I don't know what the fuck Bono did that he got his new album put on all the fucking iPods
My assessment
and
of
iPhones.
God, it would be fun to like review music and talk about music on this channel.
We can do that. We should do that.
But just for now, here's a little taste. My opinions on Bono. He has very folksy, like togetherness type music, like almost Bob Dylan type music, but it's just too glossy and nothing, where it feels like it stands for nothing. He's not saying anything actually substantive with his lyrics, and it creates this vague abstract idea of oneness and togetherness, and we should all hold hands with our neighbors, and it says nothing about anything, and it's just vacuous. And corporations and probably the corporate side of the music industry loves this stuff because it creates a sense of awe and wonder and joy in people without actually having to do the legwork of making a political statement about anything actually serious.
Yeah, no one's talked about Bono since that one concert.
All I know from him mostly is just the South Park episode where he is literally the biggest shit in the world.
Oh, okay. He's just a giant turd.
Like Randy takes a giant shit and he submits it to Guinness World Records, but it turns out it's only the second biggest shit in the world because Bono is himself the biggest shit in the world.
Classic. Now Bono, sure. Sorry if I'm blowing out the microphone here, but Magic Johnson, he deserves it because he magically didn't die of AIDS.
Yes.
After he got it and became a spokesperson for it, and what was definitely not a humiliation ritual. Because of some potential crime that he was trying to cover up, and he had to be the spokesperson for convincing all young people within a certain community to buy medication for AIDS that was not created by Dr. Anthony Fauci.
That is bizarre. I mean, all this happened before my time, so
mine too. I guess.
I remember as a kid, the number one thing people would say about Magic Johnson, he has HIV. And he was like the most famous basketball player in the world, and then he basically had to step down and admit to the world that he had AIDS.
During a time where everyone thought it was gay. It was like only gay people got it.
Everyone thought it was like a huge sin and a sign that you were just this massive sexual deviant if you got AIDS. And he came out and said, I have HIV. And people were saying like, shouldn't he be dead by now if he has this supposedly incurable disease?
With the right medication, at a very affordable cost to the average person who is very susceptible to HIV, you can live forever with HIV. You just have to be on a forever medication.
They have it now. Did they have it all the way back then and they just
either he didn't have it or I don't know.
Or he just doesn't have it. Anyway, Lionel Messi, an Argentina-born soccer player who spent most of his career playing in Spain, he gets the American Medal of Freedom. But honestly, does this help his conversation in the GOAT debate between him and Ronaldo? Ronaldo doesn't have a medal of freedom.
Now, I will say, because I had to ask earlier, I had no idea who Messi was. I only know Ronaldo. I know nothing about soccer. And I think that's maybe just a cultural thing. I mean, I don't watch sports ball anyways, but I definitely...
Yeah, stupid sports ball, idiot people watching their bearded circuses.
I like... Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I really know nothing about soccer.
I mean, Messi is...
I love the flops.
Messi is awesome. Honestly, I think he is the GOAT.
Yeah, but why should he get an American
why is
Medal of Freedom?
He's been playing soccer in America now for like 3 years as part of the Miami Football Club in MLS. So I guess that's enough, folks.
Wait,
that's enough to get the Medal of Freedom.
Speaking of Magic Johnson, Jane Goodall.
Yeah, a British woman who spent most of her research career in Gombe, Africa.
Doing what?
Researching chimpanzees. And chimp behavior.
Well, she might deserve it, but this last one...
I mean, she's an esteemed part of her field, but isn't this supposed to be like an award for American civilians?
Is she not American?
She's British.
Oh, whatever, sorry.
She's lived her entire life in like England and Africa.
Yeah, it's all fake. It's all gay. Bill Nye's last one. We'll come back around to Bill Nye because it's just funny that he got it. I know a lot of people love Bill Nye, but this person, Jose Andres, Wait. Jose Andres is the person who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. Am I reading that correctly?
No, he's in the photo with the second Trump assassin who was also programmed at Fort Bragg, apparently.
Why did I for some reason I read his name incorrectly on an earlier slide. Okay. So why was he in this photo? What was the Trump assassin doing that they would be in the same place? Did he just kind of get in a picture and say, hey, can you take a picture with me?
Well, all we know is that they're showing great support for Ukraine. They need our support, Rusty. They need even more money, which I think Biden just gave them.
Yeah, I forget if we covered that, but there was a lot more money that went.
But anyway, another hero receiving the Medal of Honor. Bill Nye was one of the notable recipients, and unfortunately, this is what his legacy has become. People, it's good to be sexually liberated, okay? And I don't hold anyone back against people who want to explore their sexuality, proud of their sexuality. But there's ways to do it that are not this. You know, like, I get it's supposed to be in the original Bill Nye the Science Guy.
It isn't
on
though.
ABC. They had to have a song at the end of each episode, but
this whole thing, Bill Nye Saves the World, that's just propping up Bill Nye.
It's designed to tear down and ruin an American icon.
Or, yeah, to ruin. They could have just let him die, but either he had an ego, he wanted to take money, or he's willing to sell out for any of this fucking bullshit when he could have died a hero instead of trying to stay relevant by feeding into whatever fucking state propaganda they have him saying, or that he has to say.
People are saying, like, Bill Nye was always a hack. You know, they lump him in with, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is, like, genuinely, like, pretentious with a lot of his media. But the original Bill Nye the Science Guy show was quite good. I watched them when I was a little kid, and it made me interested in science.
Right.
Those episodes were well done, well produced, like, good editing, good effects, good presentation, and they just had to come out and make him do this and humiliate himself, and now a bunch of people hate him for doing this. And I hope it was worth it to get a medal from Joe Biden.
Well, he'll burn in hell for it, for being a liar, especially against God and against himself. The hypocrites are always the first to burn.
But anyway, speaking of Joe Biden, I think he's just had enough.
Yeah.
They lost the presidency again to Trump. People have been bashing and battering him and calling him demented and an old has-been for 4.5 years now. And I think he's just gotten to the point where he's not even trying to be nice anymore.
Angry old man Biden. All right.
Old man yells at cloud.
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life. My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Yeah, you're talking to the press. Why would they possibly have met more world leaders?
It's a bit of an odd thing to brag about as the president.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, you're right.
I'd expect the president to know more world leaders than some random guy at McDonald's.
Oh, January 6th, of course. The day that changed democracy, which, are we even a democracy or are we a democratic republic? I forget how all that works.
It happened again, guys.
Yes.
No, just kidding. We had a peaceful transition of power this time for Trump, whereas the last one was so horribly violent and almost led to the end of our democracy.
It does not appear that Markiplier is a big fan of January 6th.
Guys, our democracy almost ended. Do you realize this? A bunch of, 1,000 people were almost enough to destroy the U.S. military and somehow usher in a new form of government. It almost ended, guys.
Well, January 6th seemed to go relatively well. Did I tell you I met the guy who stole Nancy Pelosi's podium?
Oh, does he still have it?
No, I don't think he still has it.
Damn it.
He kind of just runs off that energy.
Damn it, man.
Like, I'm the guy who has the podium.
It's full of notes on what to insider trade for the next day. Anyway,
well, here's some good news.
In other news,
it's Trudeauver.
Folks, it's Trudeauver.
For all my Canadians who I can't mail anything to, I think this was also on January 6th. So this did turn out to be a very historic day in politics after all. Justin Trudeau announced his resignation.
And the fact is,
Canadians in the
despite
chat,
best efforts to work
Are there any?
let us know you're here.
Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history.
Justin Castro.
Oh, he's
why
seething.
this
Look how
morning,
pissed he is.
I advised the Governor
No.
General that we need
He's
a
happy
new
about
He's fucking
session of
pissed that he's
Parliament.
losing it all.
She
He really
has
thought he was
granted this
him.
request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th.
Prorogan.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future.
All right, we have one Canadian in
course
the
of my
entire
career,
audience so far.
any success
What the hell
I
is even the point of
personally
talking about this
achieved
Canadian?
has been because
Anyway,
of their support. And
Canadians out there, let us know. Does Trudeau deserve his 30% approval rating? How is it over there? I hear there's some bad stuff. I hear there's bread lines. I hear there's like death panels and assisted suicide because
Indians shitting on the
free
beaches.
free healthcare doesn't want to actually heal people. They just want to kill them with euthanasia.
Closing banks if you oppose the government.
Canadian people in the audience, let us know. Is it all propaganda? Are we hearing it wrong? Or how are things over there north of the border?
And I actually am. Do you think that Pierre, whatever, PP, is he going to be a better prime minister, or is he just going to do the same kind of corrupt bullshit? Because, he's charismatic, but I can't tell if any of these people can be trusted. I would assume not.
Well, folks.
Oh, wait, no, this is cool. Just a little farewell tribute to Mr. Trudeau.
Guys, you hate the politicians until they're gone, and you can't. They don't provide the humor and joy to your lives. Same thing's going to happen with Biden in a few days, and we might have to make up our own tribute for that. But, folks, there will never, ever be another candidate like Justin Trudeau.
As someone who has done blackface in the past, he's kind of a legend in our field. You have Justin Trudeau, and then you have Al Jolson. They're in like the top two. I'd like to be up there one day, but for now we have to move on. God damn it, we're going slow.
And on to the main story of the day.
Okay, LA is on fire.
They've been on fire since January 7th. They are still on fire. I think the Rusty Cage show set might be about to catch fire, but it's a bad situation. It's a bad situation in Los Angeles and the surrounding Southern California area. Anyone in the chat in the LA area, what horror stories do you have to tell us? Let us know. But we're going to be covering at least what we've picked up from this hellacious news cycle on the Los Angeles fires.
Yes, let's get into it. So this has been happening for a while, and Los Angeles always does have fires. I should have kept my wits about me specifically for this portion of the show, because this is the
main attraction right now. This is an active situation. Details are still unfolding, but basically in California, the Santa Ana winds kick up every winter. We're basically in the transition of air flowing out of the Death Valley area, the big desert near Las Vegas. They flow out to the ocean and they get funneled through the ridges in the mountains, and that ends up picking up wind speeds to 50, 60, sometimes 70, 80 miles per hour. And this is also a very dry time of year, low humidity. Any sort of spark or ember can result in a disastrous, or other nefarious means, they can result in a disastrous climate disaster. And that, unfortunately, has happened in the Los Angeles area as of this year, and I believe this is the closest any of these fires have gotten to the center of the city, and it's really affecting populated areas, and it's led to mass chaos and devastation.
Well, let's check it out. We have a series of videos here. And I do think these are all... Dude, this is the fucking worst thing. Being stuck in a car whenever a wildfire crosses over.
So I believe over 140,000 people have been evacuated from their homes. And as the fires were happening, before it was a big prevalent news cycle, it kind of snuck up on a lot of people. They showed up real quick, started expanding rapidly, and basically a bunch of people tried to escape their houses, go into the roads, and the roads got clogged up. And I think many of them just straight up abandoned their cars and literally ran away from their burning homes on foot.
Better that they did that than stay in their cars or get stuck there and burn through. I remember a story, my friend who's got that podcast, Swindled, he covered one of these stories where people all got burned in their cars, and you can hear like the police phone calls. They're trying to call the police as though they can be saved, but they're stuck in their cars as they're cooking alive. And I don't know if that happened.
That is a brutal, horrifying way to die.
I think so. Let's check out I'm gonna check out another one of these.
So this next video comes from someone inside of their house as it's burning down.
Which, I did think this was AI when I first saw it.
This is something you don't want to see when you wake up in the morning.
You probably should have left a little bit earlier.
You okay? You gonna be okay? Hi.
That's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see a dog.
Holy shit. Is this person alive?
I heard they got out, but I have no idea if they actually did.
Dude.
Okay.
That's just pretty unbelievable footage right there.
Yeah,
very harrowing situation, and this was unfortunately thousands of people pretty much experienced this in Los Angeles. It's very tragic, and I know there's a lot of I get it. There's a lot of wealthy people out there, a lot of people in mansions, but
a lot of people. I saw Mel Gibson said that his house burned down. A lot of rich people's houses are burning down, which, as long as P. Diddy's house does not, then I think we'll be okay.
It's easy to be callous. Yeah, you're
Especially
rich already.
Especially because we're on this side of the country.
Just buy another house. You probably have 5 houses already, but keep in mind, these fires are affecting predominantly working class people. Like, in terms of the majority of people being affected, it is a lot of working class who live in small single family homes. So just beware of being super callous about this event.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what they're saying. This is just background footage. It does seem something that has been predicted before. I mean, fires are not new to California, but I always think that wildfires are the easiest man-made, created, quote-unquote, natural disaster of anything. All it takes is a single arsonist to light a portion of land on fire during a very specific time of the year.
Well, according to Smokey the Bear, upwards of 90% of wildfires are man-made.
Yes, and so, well, this will play in later when we get there. Let's just look at some of these infernos.
So all that, it basically takes one single spark and one little ember. You could take a little Bic lighter out of your pocket and set the grass on fire, and when the conditions are such where the wind is up, high humidity, low groundwater from just weeks and months of drought, that's all it takes. It's like having a big stack of dominoes set up, and all you have to do is push the first one over, and it's off to the races.
Right, and so this is kind of what we saw in Lahaina in Maui. A lot of people were saying, they thought this was more nefarious, where they thought there was like a laser from a satellite that lit everything on fire, but really it just takes having all these dominoes set up where you have poor infrastructure, you have poor public planning, and you have poor budgeting that allows undercut areas that, the environmentalist movements that were trying to prevent burning of underbrush that later caused all this fuel to just stack up.
Which is odd because here in Florida, they have prescribed burns all the time in the state parks, and they're supposed to simulate a natural environment because before people came to Florida, wildfires would rage through the underbrush, and they wouldn't be severe as these ones in California because there wouldn't be such high wind events, and it does not get nearly as arid in Florida. Obviously, it's a humid state, but here in Florida, we run prescribed burns at the state parks to try to restore the natural environment. And what's normally supposed to happen in the absence of human habitation in Florida is that the wildfires should go through and clear out the underbrush of the forests, so the small and competing plants get wiped out, whereas the bigger mature trees, they can survive and continue growing.
Right.
And I don't know how many of you people have been to Florida, but if you drive around in much of the state, it's very dense vegetation in woods and forests.
Yeah,
and it's not supposed to be like that. Back in the days of William Bartram and the original Seminole settlers of Florida, you could ride a horse from one coast of Florida to the other, and it would be clear brush because the wildfires would clear that out. And so it's odd to me that environmentalists in California are preventing the natural clearing of the brush and prescribed burns, and instead letting all that fuel build up into sort of the untenable situation that we're experiencing right now.
And we know, and I think we're going to get into it because this is again, all the dominoes have to be set up. It's more than just that. It's more than just the bottom layer of the forest, like that build up and then will allow these fires to burn completely through. So this is the
Pacific Palisades neighborhood, which they suffered the first and most destructive fire.
Yeah, and that's what it looks like now. Now, I thought that's what California always looked like, just based on what I was being told.
Yeah, Skid Row.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a giant Skid Row. Congratulations. And not congratulations. I feel bad for every single person who lives there who did not have any knowledge about this or any control over it. Because this is happening everywhere, and it does bother me that that same lack of controlled burning can be happening even in Florida, in north central Florida. You can see some controlled burning, but there's a lot of areas that aren't. You can see where politics and corrupt businesses are causing ecological changes that are insanely damaging.
Yeah, folks, I mean, this is no laughing matter, but sheesh, as if California didn't have enough homeless already.
Right. Well, Skid Row just got a lot bigger. A tale as old as time.
Whenever you have a natural disaster like this, there's a lot of reactions where some people just chalk it up to, oh, it's just an act of God, and nothing could have been done. These things happen. But I never feel satisfied with those answers because, yes, there is stuff that could have been done. There's a lot of mitigating factors that you could do to at least make the end result not as tragic and catastrophic as what we ended up seeing. And in the days after all these houses tragically burned to the ground, a lot of stories and news started to come out where the politicians of Los Angeles and California did not seem to do any sort of job in terms of actually preventing these problems from happening.
Not only, I feel like California is just a giant con artist state. I know a lot of states are like this, but they do this with the homeless. They just collect money and they have this budget that they're being fed from all these tax dollars, and they spend it on fucking nothing.
How many billions have been spent on stopping the homeless problem
and thus
far at this point, and there's more homeless than ever?
Yeah, it's all being pocketed. So any money going to this is being redirected to nonsense. The fire hydrants running dry in the Palisades area. California's always had issues with their water, with their reservoirs. So I forget how many.
Obviously, California goes through droughts. But in 2023 and 2024...
They have fucking water. They dump it right into the ocean.
They had record rainfall.
Yes. Yeah. And they let Nestle come through, and they let them drain any water from springs that could go into reservoirs. They dump the rest of it into the water. They get billions of dollars to build these reservoirs that they never actually end up building, or they don't fully fill, and then they're just left empty because all that money is probably being used elsewhere.
Guess what, Los Angeles? Your wonderful mayor is not even in the country while your cities are burning down.
Yeah, she's Ghana.
Yeah, she has to go to some random fucking inauguration in Ghana, and then
Why? What's in Ghana?
I don't know. I guess she knows the person being inaugurated. It's hard to say, but it very bad look.
Probably a lot of water there in Ghana.
Surely it was just by chance, but very very bad timing for Mayor Karen Bass, who didn't really have much to say after the tragedy. In fact, if you click on that link there on her picture,
okay, hold on a second.
One journalist couldn't get her to say anything.
Oh, yeah. Whoops. Hang in there, folks. God, I'm killing the show.
So let's see what the mayor of LA has to say about being missing for the biggest natural disaster in the city's history.
Yeah, hopefully she doesn't play this off as just some fucking corporate person rather than a leader of people.
Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Los Angeles County, this is your elected official.
Today who are dealing with this disaster.
I want to see if she says more. I want to ride this.
Yeah,
out.
let's hear her out.
Yeah.
You know, let's hear her out. Let's see what she has to say.
No apology for them.
I saw a smaller clip.
Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
Yes. She
gave an answer.
Finally.
Dumb, incompetent slut.
Oh boy. It's amazing what happens when the politician actually has to go under scrutiny, where they actually deal with an adverse situation rather than just wishful thinking and lip service. Blah, 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 elect me. I'm sure she gets paid $10 million a year in salary out of the state budget.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today.
I like the agony of it. I like that she can't escape.
She literally can't say anything. She can't say like, oh, I'll address this later at my press conference.
Right.
She's just so shell-shocked and so...
As you say, she wasn't...
I mean, I imagine it's something resembling guilt, but these politicians, I think, they've gotten to the point where they're so amoral and they just have so much contempt for the common man that they're probably almost incapable of feeling guilt. She's feeling bad that, oh God, I'm not going to be the smiling politicians riding the coattails of my political power to benefits and all sorts of other goodies later in my life. Maybe she's vindictive. Maybe she's not a good person. But there's a greater conversation, folks. There's an epidemic of CTE among our public officials. Mitch McConnell, Joe Biden. How many times have we seen them on camera facing a reporter and they just sit there and freeze up like a deer in the headlights?
Well, folks, at least the two on the bottom have an excuse. They're old, not just...
I mean, I don't know how old Karen Bass is, but the level of CTE among elected officials needs to be investigated.
So there's a lot of other reasons that we're building up that could cause this, some of which we already mentioned. The longtime LA firefighter fired for not getting COVID vaccines, so I don't know how many people that affected, but
I believe it was dozens of able-bodied firefighters that were let go from the workforce and then just not replenished.
Fire department creates diversity, equity, and inclusion bureau. That's always a good thing. You want there to not be any merit, but a diverse firefighting crew.
Right, yeah, the people putting out fires in your city that need to be physically strong and have a lot of physical stamina in being able to sit there with a fire hose or for 3 hours or carry someone out of a burning building. We should just make sure they're not a bunch of white men. And guys, this is not a right-wing show. We're not a bunch of fucking right-wing dick suckers who look at these conservative politicians and just spend all day cheerleading for them on Twitter. I don't want to give off that impression, but I want to look at these things and call it like it is, where
I think everyone's kind of pissed on both sides.
People are trying to act like, oh, the DI program is just like this big straw man from right-wing people. The way I see it, every single factor that took able-bodied firefighters away from this program and allowed this tragedy to happen, you have to discuss it. You can't sweep it under the rug and say, well, they're just trying to give jobs to
hopefully that's not happening.
People.
I don't know if that's happening anymore. It doesn't feel like the energy is going back to that same way that it was in the 90s, where they could easily get people to stop talking about the actual issues that are going on and just turn against each other because you're a conservative or you're a liberal.
I've seen it, Rusty. I've seen it. I was listening to fucking NPR the other day.
Well, fucking NPR is not public radio. It's state-funded propaganda bullshit. No, but the point is,
there's people listening, and this is being put out, all this news about the fire, and I don't want to hear one goddamn second that NPR is like non-biased media anymore, because they're clearly the same political cheerleaders as all these other fucking fake media outlets. All this talk about the fires, and the number one thing they lead off the show with is right-wing talking heads are blaming DEI on the fires.
Yeah, of course, because anyone can see through this and see
that's one component, but as we're showing here, this is a multifaceted issue.
$17.5 million from fire department budgets were removed.
It pisses me off when people look at these tragedies and they act like, oh, nothing could have been done. Oh, it's just climate change. And I believe in climate change, and I think climate change is negatively affecting the Earth, but to sit back and be like, oh, what can we do?
And
all this stuff could have been in place beforehand, and I get when there's a raging inferno, and it's a big enough acreage, there's very little that can be done. But
you could take some of the fucking water away from wonderful company who makes palm and all these agricultural huge industry businesses that hoard up to over half the amount of water.
If you're a politician, you have to at least make it look like you're trying. And here, what the hell is like a single thing that has been done? The fucking dry fuel was let to build up, no forest management, water reservoirs running empty, fire hydrants running out of water after a couple hours of fighting fires as people's houses and livelihoods and possessions are burning to the ground into ash and cinders. There's the video, we don't even have it here, but you can look it up on Twitter to find it. There's a video of a firefighter literally using a hand purse to scoop water into someone's lawn.
I saw that video, and I know you're not supposed to park the fire truck so close to the fire, but he was like using his helmet, and then he had to run about 100 yards. Just park the truck a little closer.
I mean, it would be more funny if it just the stakes weren't so high, where clearly a bunch of administrative decisions made by these elected officials were done, and it negatively affected the outcome of these files for the actual constituents who live in California. And I don't understand how that can be ignored. I don't want to fucking hear people downplaying like, oh, it's just nothing could have been done. It's just climate change. Plenty of stuff could have been done. And I get that past a certain point, climate factors become untenable and like stuff is going to get damaged. It's inevitable. The Hurricane Helene came through here and like screwed up everything.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Is this a bigger issue? Was all this incompetence allowed to happen for a specific reason? Because thousands of Los Angeles homeowners were dropped by their insurers before the Palisade fires. So this was not too long before the fires, the summer before. State Farm, which is the largest home insurer in California, were dropping all this. What did they know? And on top of that, the insurance doesn't pay out if it's arson, only if it's an act of God. So you've seen the videos. There's a lot of videos of arsonists going out there restarting fires. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the insurance companies are sending out people or hiring people to commit small fires, to create arson, so that they can later blame on the reason why these homes burned down so they don't have to pay out these policies.
It's just there's a bunch of illegal immigrants. Just threaten them with getting deported and coerce them to do it. I don't know, guys. It's just
it's getting hot in here.
It's been a long time since I've had faith in the society around me. About the same time that I stopped cutting my hair, actually. And the more I see this, the more it just confirms to me that the institutions of society are not here to help you. You need to structure your life in a way where you are the least dependent possible on corporations, on insurance companies, on politicians. Don't get sucked in. Don't think that the politicians in charge give like one little rat's ass about you and your life. They'll do a ton of lip service, ton of everything to get elected, but don't think for 1 second that most of these guys aren't just sitting here trying to look pretty and just hoping that this doesn't happen. Because there's no plan in place.
Well, I'm sure they will have something to say. Our leaders will.
There's no mitigation seemingly at all. But yeah, please continue donating to political parties and supporting these politicians.
They'll have our back eventually.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me when you.
This is Gavin Newsom, the governor of California.
Literally talking to the president right now.
Oh, he's talking to the president right now?
He's right here. Can I hear him? No, there's a bit of a backlog.
I don't believe it.
There's a few more things a bit more important. I mean, Ukraine just asked for more money.
Well, first off, I don't know why she thinks that she should be able to also be on this conference call, apparently, between Gavin Newsom and the president, but I don't believe that he's actually on the phone.
Lady, he's right here. I'm ordering the McDonald's from Biden right now.
Literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president
He doesn't have a signal.
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's
No
get it.
fucking
Let's get it. I
lying
wanna be here
con
when you
man
call
piece
the
of
president.
shit.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now.
Ironically, he looks better in this clip than the next one we're about to play.
And to help you, I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry.
He's devastated.
Especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids. Losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another.
Yeah.
He's just thinking, can someone get this bitch out of my face?
Shut up.
We're getting the resources.
My button stopped working, so I can't hit the laugh track.
Let me get back in my climate-controlled Chevy Suburban and drive away from this bitch.
Yeah, go to Ghana.
Thanks for your vote, by the way, for the last 12 years.
Fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
Would you?
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
How?
But would
What are
you
you
do
talking
that?
about, lady? This lady might be a
But
plant.
you're not.
She's
I
ridiculous.
see do you know there's
So is
water
he. I'm not
dripping
taking
over
his
there,
side.
Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including...
Hell, not much can be done now, lady.
Yeah.
Might as well just learn to live with the consequences of my actions. Here's
Too little, too late.
Here's an even better little soundbite.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter on this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system where it's not...
You gotta figure it out, folks.
Don't figure it out.
I mean, act of God, folks. I mean, bad things happen. You gotta be adaptable. You gotta learn to take it on the chin, you know? It's not like I can do anything. I'm only the governor! I'm only the governor of the goddamn state!
What do you want him to do? He's on the phone with the
I've
president.
only been governor for 8 fucking years! More than 8? Is it 8 years?
I don't. Who did he take over from? I didn't even pay attention.
Go back to slide 43 there. What could have been done? Figure it out, guys.
What could have been done? Anything? Anything? No, this was allowed to happen. This was supposed to happen.
Well, I guess you guys are just going to have to figure it out. You know, like before we move on to this next one, I want to say, so here in Florida, we have Governor DeSantis, and DeSantis is a slimy politician, but you have to admit that for these fucking softball disasters, for Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, he had thousands and thousands of linemen from other states lined up before the hurricane hit to get power online and to restore electricity and air conditioning to hospitals and other essential infrastructure and people's homes. He is prepared for the hurricanes in Florida. I mean,
yeah,
and I don't even care for DeSantis that much, but that's at least something.
That's something he doesn't want to be
slipping on. A person in power, you have politicians. They have power over these things. They can control the outcomes of these events by mitigating just how bad it is by actually just being prepared. And in Los Angeles, in California, where you've had these Democrat-run politicians for so long, it's this big Democratic stronghold, and you have to be able to stop after a while and look at these real things and look at the real incompetence on display and stop cheerleading and put away your allegiances for a bit and say, look, I don't care what party these candidates are a part of, they are corrupt and incompetent, and you need to get them out of office, and you need to elect people who actually care. And let this serve as a reminder, an unfortunate, tragic reminder, that do not buy into the lip service. Do not buy into the rah-rah, get to the presses, we're helping out so much, 20 billion to homeless, 20 billion to illegal immigrants, and your houses are burning down.
Yeah, you can't do out of sight, out of mind with any of these policies.
At the very least, and these politicians, they all take fucking money from lobbyists. They all insider trade to allow just fucking corporations to rape the earth and to rape the country. But at the very least, stop letting my fucking house, do something to stop it from burning down into cinders. From all this stuff, wildfires happen in California every single year. Every year there's a big fire. Why wouldn't it happen in Los Angeles?
Well,
Were they just sitting on their hands the whole time, just expecting it not to happen? Like sitting here in Florida expecting not to get hit by a hurricane. Fat chance.
Was it Bill Ackman? Billionaire Bill Ackman, who had tweeted out that it's time, it's over for the people. They just need to accept it. The citizens of LA whose houses got burned down, accept that the insurance companies aren't going to cover anything that's not proven to be an act of God. If it's arson, they're not going to get their insurance covered, and so they should just sell their land. They're not going to build
Sell
their house
their land
back
for 10 cents on the dollar
and
by
move
the way.
out. And
to,
Bill Ackman
to land developers
may or may not also be trying to acquire Howard Hughes Real Estate Developers development company, which has this whole idea to build a city of the future. LA 28.
Oh, sure. And will any of these
smart LA 28.
Any of these residents of that new city be able to own the actual place, or will they be renting and passing on passive expenses for life?
It's always easier to destroy and rebuild than it is to fix current infrastructure. You need to destroy it and then build it back better. You're not going to be able to just adjust without going through great lengths. So there's
World Trade Center's getting pretty old in 01.
Yeah,
you know?
we'll get to it. Let's get through this because I know we have other points.
Anyway, another great classy politician. Help donate to the fires. I'm Elizabeth Warren. I'm Pocahontas. Donate to the fucking Democratic Party that installed these incompetent politicians that caused the problem in the first place.
Now it's the Democratic Party is just one tier of the same fake system of both people under the same company that is America. So don't divide people on that basis. It would be the same thing other way. Listen, Ted Cruz was out of the country whenever Texas was going through its major blackouts during the heat wave.
Trust me, there are villains on both sides of this.
You know, this reminds me of, again, is Lahaina in Maui. Whenever, she's a senator, which is fucking even worse, but they set up a fundraiser for the people in Maui. It was Oprah and The Rock promoting it. And people looked into it and they saw what high percentages of the funds were just going to pay the salaries of the people who ran the foundation. It's not going to the actual people. A lot of foundations are just huge scams that pay their own operation costs and their own employee costs, which makes it very difficult for people who aren't paying attention or have the time to, who want to help out, who want to give money to Red Cross and don't realize they're just paying the huge salaries of the people who run the foundations.
Right, and there are independent organizations that rate the efficacy of charities in terms of how much money goes to the actual cause.
I need to find out because I do want to donate money, and I'd love to do fundraising for a lot of these people. I wanted to do it for Maui, but I got to find honest ways of getting the money and giving it to organizations that are actually distributing it appropriately.
Yeah, but obviously here, another example, great politician, great character, one of these modern politicians who I'm sure hasn't increased their net worth by $100 million by insider trading, by being in office. Oh, but yeah, we're Democrats, we support the working class. Anyway, yeah, blatant lying, blatant deception, not even just lying to the extent that they think you're so fucking stupid that you'll just fall for it. But you know what? I don't know, are they right? because these people keep doing this, the incompetence keeps coming out. Maybe if enough people's houses burn to the ground because apparently nothing could be done to prevent it, then finally you'll start voting these goddamn clowns out of office. But every time they apply for re-election, they get brought back into office. So
clowns.
Send in the clowns, guys.
Ding-a-ling-a-ding-ding-ding.
We're in the clown word 20s, and this is just yet another example. But anyway, a new recent development in the situation.
Yes, fuck it. God damn it. So this gets really confusing to me at this point. So Biden says the feds will cover 100% of the fire response costs in Southern California. Is that a true statement? Is that just a...
It's for 180 days.
For 180 days, which is ridiculous. So why in Lahaina, why in Maui, and why in West Virginia, or West North Carolina, did they only offer $750 to these people that are still destroyed? They were living in Maui. They're still living in hotels.
I did a lot of looking into this.
Okay, good.
There's strong opinions on either sides of this issue. In my opinion, the government should recoup the costs of all these places.
Yes.
So this is the right decision. The problem people have with it is that places like Maui, places like especially Appalachia, where people are still living in tents in freezing cold conditions, and even places like East Palestine, Ohio, where they were completely ruined and tainted by a chemical spill, and that's mostly just been completely untouched by the federal government.
Right. Yeah, everyone forgot about East Palestine.
These politicians like to get up here and grandstand about how they always constantly throw out the platitude in these speeches in modern times. It's like, oh, we're a deeply divided nation, implying that like we got to make it better. Well, this is the stuff that divides America. So you're telling me that these people in California, which are again predominantly much more wealthy, much higher standard of living than the people in Appalachia that were adversely affected by Hurricane Helene, you're literally telling them that they matter more.
No. Okay. All right. So maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm being conspiratorial on this too much, but the big thing about Chimney Rock in West North Carolina is that a lot of these devastated areas were owned by people who own land that they were trying not to sell because it was on top of one of the largest lithium and quartz mines and storages deposits in the country and in the world. This is a hundreds of trillions of dollars sitting right underneath these stupid bumpkins who refuse to sell their family's land or whatever, the house that's been in their family for 3 generations. And so once it's destroyed, they're not going to allow them to rebuild. They're not going to give them the money to rebuild because they don't want them to be back there. And the same thing with Maui. You don't want a bunch of fucking...
Yeah, wonderful, ideal beachfront paradise property.
Stupid, dirty little natives living on your land. Fuck that. And let them burn. Let their children be sold off and disappear forever. Fuck them.
Palisades, Los Angeles, very valuable beachfront, oceanfront property. And hey, the Olympics happen to be coming to town.
That's right.
In just 3 years. And there's going to be probably a lot of development for various stadiums and infrastructure for all the tourists and tourist revenue that's going to come in during then. And the whole redevelopment, land redevelopment theories and just eminent domain and just kicking people out by just letting these disasters happen, that's a whole other conversation. But here is just the plain news here that we're looking at right now is Biden administration oversaw Helene. That was just 6 months ago.
Yes.
Why is the response so... Biden didn't say, like, anything.
I'm going to go ahead and skip this LA Smart City thing. If you want to look it up, look up LA or Smart LA 2028. There seems to be a big organization that is trying to, the same way as in Maui, turn LA into a smart city so it aligns with, rebuilding in the way that they want it with better transportation and they can have the Olympics and blah, blah, blah. It's a boring video. So let's just go back to, I want people to really, and I'm sure everyone does, but don't let out of sight, get out of mind. People are still fucked.
And I think this was
North Carolina.
This was the same day Biden very adamantly posted to Twitter and alerted the people, we're reimbursing 100% of the damages in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, FEMA is kicking unhoused people like people who lost their homes in Hurricane Helene out on the streets, out of their temporary housing in the middle of a freezing cold snowstorm.
They're refusing permits to let them rebuild. There's been police that have stolen their generators.
I'm in Swananoa.
But this is Swananoa.
I understand LA is still on fire. But we are, 110 days after the storm? And this is an American city that looks like this.
We will get to the
3
super
months
chats that are
after
covering this
catastrophe.
before we move on.
That bridge still out 100 days later. This gas station is
Dude,
gone.
America's turning into a fucking third world country.
There's still cars.
This is what happens in third world countries. Oh, what? There's trash and garbage and debris everywhere and all the infrastructure's crumbled? Whoops. Guess it's just going to stay like that for the foreseeable future.
Let this town be a ghost town forever. Fuck these people. They're stupid and we don't
Today
want
is
them. We want them
January
dead.
10th, 2025. I'm going to start this video out by saying that we're praying for California. We've had several people make the trip across coast to come volunteer here with us with Valley Strong Disaster Relief. I'll be the very first to admit that before September 27th, I would see a natural disaster and I would think, oh, that sucks. Then I would go on about my life. That's because I'd never been affected by it. My mindset has completely changed since Hurricane Helene, and I'll spend the rest of my life being involved in some sort of storm relief and trying to pay back the hearts of the volunteers and to help the victims. This morning I saw a post made by the leader of the free world. He said that he was announcing that the federal government would cover 100% of the cost of measures to protect the lives and property in Southern California.
If I recall, they were very hush-hush about
He told the
Helene.
governor
Same
and officials to
administration.
spare no expense
Yeah.
and do whatever
They didn't want anyone
need
to know what was
contain
going
the
on.
fires and protect families. I hope that happens. I wouldn't wish what happened here on anybody, not even my worst enemy. What about Appalachia? We are 105 days in since one of the most devastating storms known to mankind. We are still supplying our own campers and shelters while paying mortgages on piles of rubble. We are still running our own supply hubs with phase 1 items to many people that lost everything, including their homes and their jobs. We still have bridges out. Only 4% of the debris has been picked up. You heard that right, 4%. Many businesses are bankrupt with insurance denying their claim. We have a polar vortex slamming western North Carolina while people are going through 10 gallons of propane a night.
They don't even know how many people
wondering
are
where
really
they're going to get
missing.
their next
It's fucking
tank.
40 degrees in Florida right now. I can only imagine how cold it is there in the mountains.
Let's go. Let me see how many we have.
We have several more slides to cover before the next break.
Yeah, we have like 4 more, but we're coming to the end. I do want to hear this Lahaina one because you posted this,
Yeah,
but I
because
didn't watch it.
this has been this has been a lot of the rhetoric where if California is getting the adamant 100% Biden bucks reimbursement, what about Helene? And we just saw they're not doing quite good there, but FEMA seems to be ready to pull the plug already.
I think they already pulled out
And now-
a while back.
And then we have the Maui wildfires, which is more of an analog.
According to Maui
And,
Recovers website,
this person is one of the only people actually providing updates. I mean, the news is not doing it. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they forgot about it.
We have to rely on the same thing with people talking about volunteering in the chat. We have to rely on the goodwill of regular people because clearly the gears of the government are a bit slow to actually respond to what is necessary. So we need boots on the ground journalists like this showing stuff how it actually is objectively without the media being able to spin it into talking about what politician didn't do as bad of a job as they actually did. But anyway, here's this is Maui in 2025 after experiencing a massive fire 18 months ago.
159 residential properties in Lahaina have already submitted for building permits. And out of those submitted, 152 have been approved and issued so residents can start to rebuild their homes. When you consider that 1,564 properties have been cleared of ash and debris, That means that the 152 building permits that have been issued is about 10% of the homes that were lost in the fire. That's pretty good progress.
Oh.
However, it is a bit disappointing to report that only 2 homes in Lahaina have completed construction so far.
Folks, you might be looking
This
in
block of
if you're in
Waiakuli
if you're
in
not in a
particular
mansion
appears to
in
have
California,
several
you might be
homes
looking into your next 18 months or more.
To
A
be
lot
fair,
of
though,
empty
it can
lots.
be difficult to tell which
Still
homes
in
are
Maui
new
18 months
and
later.
which ones survived the fire from this distance. But if you're really curious about the amount of progress over the past year,
how long is this going?
You can reference my previous video.
I think I booked it.
tours
It's about 3 minutes.
in this area
It turns
that
around
verify a very
and it's going to
similar
show
path.
the temporary housing.
Now, as we
on
reach
there, but
the
it
north end of
really
Lahaina
shows
town,
like
we're gonna
even
turn
more of the
around and start
devastation.
heading back in the other direction. As we spin, you'll see a couple temporary housing sites that have been built above the old neighborhood.
So up there at the top of frame,
The
that's
first
where
one
the
is a
displaced people
state-funded
are
project
living
with
right now.
450 planned units that will house up to 1,500 wildfire survivors. Families actually started moving into these homes all the way back in August. One thing that I noticed that is different from my previous videos in this area is the green grass between the old neighborhood and the temporary housing sites. The green really sticks out compared to the empty lots and the dry grass that surrounds Lahaina.
It's not good.
It is normal for Lahaina to be very dry during the summer months.
I think he's going to say, or
but
FEMA
this has
spent
felt like an
additional
unusually
$3
dry
billion,
winter so far.
I guess, to build all that temporary
December through
housing. But
April are typically
I think the expectation with a lot of this is that probably by 18 months you'd have your house back, or you'd have some kind of insurance payout to show for it.
Something.
But
you'd probably never get it back.
It is
eminent
still
domain
scoured.
is how they steal this shit.
It looks like a fucking tornado just went through there.
You condemn a piece of property and then that can be used to take it. I wonder if that's what they're going to do with LA, because I know a lot of rich people got fucked too. Kinda like rich fucked. You know, their second, third homes they don't live in might have got burnt down. They're going to be all right, but a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, that whole aerial we showed you. You can go back, but go back up on the slides to the before and after of the Palisades neighborhood. So this is a normal neighborhood. I'm sure the property values are quite high because of the location, but these are mostly normal people like you and me, and this is what they have to show for their lives now. And it didn't have to turn out this way.
It doesn't matter where you live.
Accidents happen, natural disasters happen, but this is just a cruel amount of negligence from your so-called elected public officials who I'm sure rake in their salary and take in plenty of goodies and political donations, and they're very well taken care of. And this just seems like the contempt they have for you, the common man. So keep that in mind. It's a good harsh thing to live your life after, knowing that these politicians, they really don't care.
$600 million settlement.
And East Palestine, Ohio, the story was not very well known, but
a freight train
only because of TikTok did people know about it, and this shit happens all the fucking time.
But this is a news story from August of last year, where I've never heard anyone even bring this up, not even on Twitter, where people are usually sort of like watchdogs about this. A settlement has been reached, and it's currently in appeal, but basically it's like they're trying to pay out this settlement, and then the city's on their own.
Dozens of people, at
Yeah.
the very least, dozens of people.
Fuck them.
Right? No,
we don't care about this. It's just
get it off your bottom
it's just
line.
it's just
Get it
another
over
middle
with.
America bumfuck city. We don't care about them. The federal government's not involved because it's a man-made disaster.
I know, and then people will be moving in 10 years whenever some real estate developer comes in and starts selling the land and neglecting to say that it is a Superfund site, and then people are going to get cancer 50 years from now and go, why is this happening? Well, your water is poisoned and it's rainbow colored, and the air you breathe has fucking chlorine in it.
Why does our city have like 10 times the natural rate of brain cancer, and all the newborn babies are coming out deformed? Who knows?
That they might face as residents.
Is there something we should be...
If you scroll ahead, there's like a break in the video right there. There's the townspeople lawyer has something to say, and it basically tells you all you need to know about how we as the most wealthy country in the world are treating this. So do you see in the timeline there?
Oh, yeah.
The next break?
Yeah, cool. Let's check this out.
Reaction. Come on in here, Scott.
Hey, Rich.
What is your reaction to today's ruling by Judge Benita Pearson?
You saw the system work as designed, not as it should today. And what I mean by that, the protection and enrichment of billion-dollar companies and plaintiffs' attorneys at expense of the people of East Palestine.
So you don't think this was a fair ruling in any way?
Well, the judge had she had a script. She had a ruling already when she walked in the courtroom. So this trial was just a charade for the system, basically. I mean, the judge you saw it all unfold.
I want to bring in, for our viewers, resident Jamie Wall. She was the resident who spoke up as she walked out.
Folks, this
Jamie,
is the country we live in. This is not cherry picking. This is not being overly cynical and misrepresenting things to some because I somehow want to give like a negative impression of America. This is how America works, part and parcel. I believe the settlement number is $600 million. It is an appeal right now, but eventually they're going to drag it out and they're going to be forced to accept it. That's how these things always work. And remind me again, how much did Alex Jones get charged for hurting a few families' feelings? And I'm not saying Alex Jones was innocent. I'm not saying what he did was right or good, but he got charged, what, 900 million? A billion?
I think it was billion. I could be wrong about that, but it was like a ridiculous amount of money.
Let's see. You hurt a few families' feelings, $1 billion.
Well, it's to teach you a lesson, and what they're doing right now, and how this is going to fail, and hopefully it does fail. I really do hope it does fail. I was always saying that whenever people actually stop pretending to be angry and rebelling against the establishment would be when they're actually hungry and starving, whenever they have no choice but to survive by doing something that would physically demand their action to make change, whether it's harsh change or through voting that people, I think, generally understand doesn't work. But when they start burning all your houses and letting you die and drown in floods, and they're doing all this within a year, in a year they're burning you with chemicals, they're burning your houses down, they're offering you nothing, they're stealing your children, they're not telling you what's happening to them, they're giving you nothing. Where do you live? Nowhere. Eventually, if they do this too quick, people are going to have no other option but to actually take some sort of tangible, real action against the people doing it, rather than just taking to TikTok. Oh, you can't do that anymore. No more hearing about this. Wow, no one would have even known about East Palestine if it wasn't for certain apps that allowed people on the ground to be filming it and uploading footage themselves.
Thank God for decentralized systems like the internet. If this happened 40 years ago, you would only hear about it in an encyclopedia.
Yeah,
40 years later.
Oh, they're poisoning us. Wow, that's crazy. I guess I'll find out that you're right in the 70s, long after it happens, or whatever. But this is happening right now, and everyone can see it, and a lot of people are involved. Guys, it's foolish. They're flying too close to the sun, and their wings are going to melt off, and they're going to burn to death.
I want you to think about this.
And they should.
You can completely fuck up your entire system of operations and spill toxic chemicals and poison an entire town of 10,000 people, and you can get off the hook for $600 million. Do you know how much $600 million is to these fucking corporations? Do you know do you know how much money these corporations make in one fucking day?
Yeah, that's just a margin of doing business.
This is like a $100 speeding ticket for you and I. And they're probably going to do it, and they're probably going to get off the hook for $600 million. Same thing happened. Monsanto Chemical Company in Anniston, Alabama, a town I drove through while working on my video about Talladega. Monsanto Chemical Company completely contaminates the town with PCBs, toxic chemicals in the entire water supply, generations of cancer, birth defects. They got off the hook for something like $600 million. That's all it takes.
And if that cost...
That's just the record straight.
If the cost of the litigation against you or the cost of the fines you pay to destroy the environment or to pay out people whose lives you destroyed is less than the cost it would cost your company to work around having to do that, then it's financially valuable to fuck people over and to fuck up the environment and to destroy lives because it's cheaper. It could be $600 million to have to pay out on the litigation, or it could be $1 billion to have to actually do things correctly.
Guys, it's a wicked world. And people get pissed off at me and they don't want to hear it when I bring it up because, yeah, it's negative and it's cynical. But this is just the state of America. Companies can fucking fuck people over all day, and not a goddamn thing is done about it. And you need to know that. And you need to structure your life with that in mind. And you need to treat corporate power in America as adversaries to you and your way of life and what you find good and valuable in this world. Because if you don't do that and you don't look after yourself and you somehow fall for the siren song of trusting these politicians who get paid money by these corporations to just continuously rape you and your way of life. You need to be aware. You need to be aware of that, and you need to fucking make decisions in your life so that you're not in the way of the fucking steamroller when it comes for you.
Because it will. It will, and this wasn't just a bullshit joke tweet. I worry about stuff like this a lot because, you know, I live in an area, everyone might feel like they're in a safe area. You know, I'm not going to die of crime in New York, or I'm not going to die of tornadoes necessarily where I'm at in North Central Florida. Terrible way to go. But a lot of people agree that wildfire was the worst way to go. But I wonder, what's it going to be for me? What's it going to be for you? What is the thing that's happening to the world around you that is going to kill you and leave you destitute, and you're going to be left with nothing? Is it going to be that water's being drained out of the aquifers underneath your feet, underneath your house, and your land's going to collapse into it? Because that will happen, and that is happening in a lot of areas. Is it going to be that the woods around your area are not being treated properly, and you're going to burn up in a wildfire? You can't really do anything about tornadoes. Flooding, you can in a lot of areas. They have blown levees, and they've redirected water so it can only damage areas where it does the least amount of financial damage to high industry places like farms. It just blows out. The levee blows and it drowns out all the poor people and leaves the farmland fine. They'll kill you somehow. Earthquake, I guess you can't really do anything about it except hope that someone didn't cut corners and take the rebar out of the construction.
Which is exactly
of your
what's
house.
happening now.
That happened in
I bought a
Turkey.
I bought a new house recently.
They're fucking making houses out of cardboard.
I bought a house in 2022, and my realtor warned me. She said, do not under any circumstances buy a new construction house that was built between 2020, basically up until the present day.
Yeah.
Because during all the supply shortages and COVID, all the big real estate companies cut corners, and they have these houses put together with bubble gum and paper clips, where if there's a severe wind event, if there's a fire, tornado, or an earthquake, they're going to completely fucking fall apart.
Yes.
So advice, any of you out there looking or in the house buying business soon, do not buy anything made 2020 or later. And realistically, if you want an actual nice house that's not rushed out and pumped out to be like this cookie cutter, unlivable product, you might have to go back to the 90s, 80s for the construction day. If you go back to the 70s and 60s, you start dealing with problems with lead and asbestos, because that was before the time it got regulated out, and that could turn into a nightmare.
Despite the fact that they knew it.
Yes, they knew all this. Nothing has changed.
All right, let's...
This is for after the break.
Okay.
But,
all right, well, let's read, because I saw a lot of people saying things about the fires, and I think we should read through it. Read through some of these super chats, and then we can, after the super chats, maybe we can take a quick piss break and then wrap up the show with the footage of the skydiving. Let's go back to the last one that I read. Here, let me just change this view. Again, my keyboard stopped operating correctly. Okay, I think here's where we were. We got Musca Undomestica said, a rusty fly, hopefully you can get your channel to blow up bigger than that Cybertruck with your first edited video whenever you post it. I am going to be posting that video soon. That's going to cover a lot of things related around Cage Tech's mission that they sent me on to jump out of an airplane. Paul, don't fall asleep. That's right. Stay awake, everyone. Thank you, Paul. Deranged Ape. The last time I saw this show live, viewers had to submit homework, and the host would rate car crashes. Glad to see it back.
Oh, I haven't forgotten about the homework.
I thought it was a terrible idea.
That's for a later time, folks.
The Babadook.
50
glad
euros.
You're back. Thank you. 50 euros. Very nice. Glad you're back, Rusty. I hope AI allows your new channel to thrive and prosper. Yes, AI has been allowing it to prosper so far, and I hope I'm not giving myself away here. Super Task Mismanager points at me with sunglasses on and emoji status. Well, there's for you, and thank you for the super chat. Shuba, underrated angle on this. Pistachio Dynasty, the Resnicks use huge portions of Cali's public water supply for their farms. They also lobby for war with Iran because they produce more nuts than them. Yes, that is true. And the whole water irrigation out to farms for things like pistachios and for Wonderful and all these other brands, it's very odd. Mulholland built the pipeline from, was it Nevada? I could be wrong. He built the pipeline that was supposed to canal all the water into California, and then that just irrigates out to the farms. But they want all that water for themselves, so they don't allow these reservoirs, and for things in the homes are left. Listen, I'm falling apart here, but there's so much that goes on that's so fucking corrupt with the water systems in California.
California's been corrupt for a very long time.
For multiple different reasons. And then you can read this last one here.
Paravel 424 says, "Hi, Rusty and EmpLemon, local LA resident here. I'm sure you've covered this already, but I can attest to the LAPD arresting evacuees and homeless people en masse right now." Well, folks, if you see this happening, take a video and post it online so you can make sure that the rest of the world knows, because this is how you have to fight corruption, by making people aware of what exactly is happening so that they can't just rewrite history and sweep it all under the rug and 2 months later say that none of this stuff ever happened.
Yeah, and this, like, I see people, we might not know exactly what we're talking about as the time we say it, but we're onto something, and I think a lot of the people in the chat and viewers kind of know something's going on, but it does take us having to look this up. Someone says they're going to look into the MK Ultra Fort Bragg stuff that we mentioned. I would appreciate that. If y'all have anything to contribute to the show, please do it. Anything you find, send it to submit@cage-tech.com. And we should probably just finish up the show because we're...
Yeah, let's take a quick break, then we got a little quick segment, and then we'll get out of your hair. And
right,
we're back.
We are back.
All right, so we had to get through a lot of doom and gloom. It's been a very depressing news cycle to start the year, but to end the show here, we have something a little lighter. So, Rusty, I've been working on compiling these PowerPoints alongside you, and obviously that requires me to go on Twitter a lot to capture this primary source footage, because it's pretty much the only place you can go to see it. And I gotta comb through every day, because after several weeks of time, it becomes basically impossible to search for this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And to actually get the real footage that's it's transpiring in real time, so that we can provide an actual accurate assessment to the people. But on Twitter, I happen to find this other post, which is supposed to provide us with a life-changing experience.
Is my keyboard dead?
Uh-oh.
Maybe that's what's happening here.
You want to use this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Whoa.
Good thing we got redundancy. Folks, we're prepared, unlike certain political areas of the country. But this Twitter thread, and you haven't seen this yet, but prepare to have your socks knocked off, because this is going to change the way you see the world. All this trauma, all this terrible stuff happening, we found the answer. We have found...
Hold on a second. Sorry. As the show starts to come to an end. Okay, all right. Don't mean to destroy this progress. Display cam, overlay.
Sorry for the delay, folks. We're just trying to gather our bearings again. We laid a lot on the line on this day's news segment. Where's you down after a while?
Okay.
All right. We have found this. Rusty, are you ready for a life-changing experience?
Yes.
Because the Strongman Guide, reputable and highly intelligent Twitter account, has put together these 15 images that altogether will completely change the way you think.
Now, I am not someone who laughs very often. I don't find myself to be funny, and if I do see something that may be funny, I normally don't laugh. I just see it and then stare at it like this.
Hawk Tuah, you laughed at.
That was
Skibbity Biden, you laughed at.
Listen,
9/11.
Well,
terrible tragedy, not a laughing matter.
Of course, we wouldn't laugh at that.
But anyway, Rusty, let's see if these 15 pictures can help change the way you think.
Maybe I should make this smaller
Yeah,
for
just
our viewers.
probably minimize the zoom there.
Oh my gosh, I cannot see.
You hit Control minus on your keyboard. It should work.
Sometimes that doesn't work.
Command minus, Control minus. Oh, there we go. All right, now we're getting a bunch of random shit on the sidebar.
Okay.
You know, just pop it up so we don't see the sidebar. That's a lot of distracting visual noise right there.
I can't.
This account helps boys become men by posting
Look, it's still there.
insightful comics like this.
Okay. Jesus.
All right, Rusty, so what do you see out of this comic right here? You're someone who works with comics, so I feel like you should have an insightful opinion on what exactly is going on right here. You know, I think the message is a little unclear. It's a little ambiguous. I don't really understand what the meaning of this comic is, you know?
All right, so they can only see 2 panels at the moment. So let's see. The first one, it looks like...
No, it's like the setup, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Garfield, and then you scroll down to the end and you see the punchline.
It's a lady and maybe an old man selling oranges, and he's putting them in his shirt to show that, something. You know, you can fill your breast with this. But then there's another lady with even bigger breasts, and he's putting 2 watermelons in there. You know, to show... I don't know exactly what the fuck he's trying to say, but this last one, it's clear that he's just selling things to old women based on the shape of their breasts. So he's selling old rotten bananas to this old lady, watermelons to one with big tits. Is he picking his market based on their breast size?
He's selling bananas. I don't know if there's a difference between that and
bananas.
bananas. Yeah.
50%.
Now, this old woman is not very flattered. She clearly has an insecurity about having saggy breasts, and this man is just deliberately mocking her to her face.
Is this a fucking AI? I don't understand. What are they trying to... What is his game plan?
I think all of these are AI upscaled, but they're drawn by real, reputable boomer comic artists.
Yeah, because, like, look at the, that text right there. Is that supposed to say something?
It's in Spanish, I believe, but basically...
Bananas.
This, now keep in mind, folks, these are comics that are supposed to change the way you think. Rusty, how has your thinking changed after observing this image?
I don't even get it. I don't understand what his business model is. He just puts things in his shirt, pretends like it's his breast.
He's a fruit merchant. He has lots of fresh produce available for sale to various women.
Well, he just lost a customer with that old lady.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly not a wise decision. You know, sometimes the laughter, it brings people in, but basically, it's bad to be on your phone, people. Get off the phone,
guys,
and start reading the Bible.
Good news. Yeah, I don't fucking get it. I have no idea what this means.
It's supposed to change the way you think.
He's reading a book.
It's the Bible, Rusty.
He's reading a book, and that's... Oh, it's a Bible?
It's the Bible,
and
yes.
It's casting a light that otherwise wouldn't...
Yeah, I guess he's got one of those, like, iPad sleeves, and it's got the flashlight on.
Yeah, but how do you know it's a Bible just because it has a red ribbon?
It's got to be a Bible.
It could just be a book.
What other... No, regular books don't have, like, the red tassel bookmark thing.
The book is enlightening. I don't know. Some books do.
Guys.
Everyone else is in the dark, and books bring you to light, and cell phones
It's
leave you in
bad.
darkness.
It's bad to be on your phone.
All right, I am
Pick
enlightened.
up a Bible and start reading. It'll change the way you think.
I hate this shit. Okay, so this is a Christian, evolution of a Christian. Seeking guidance, reading the word, grace received. I'm not really sure what that stage means. Thanksgiving, worship.
You know, it's a little confusing because I believe that this comic was something posted to Reddit designed to make fun of Christians. But, you know, in the previous slide, he was just telling us to get off our phones and read the Bible. So I don't really know what's happening here.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm not familiar with all the stages because I'm not a traditional Christian. I didn't go to all the schooling to necessarily know what the stage of grace received necessarily means and why he'd be crying.
No, it's supposed to be a play on like the classic evolution picture where like the monkey becomes the man.
Yeah, so
standing upright.
So it's showing the de-evolution.
This
of
Christian
a
is
Christian.
so I guess change the way you think by picking up a Bible, but don't read it too much, otherwise you'll devolve and become a lesser man.
Okay. All right, because we have 15 of these. Let's stop living like this. And this is essentially
how?
What's his name that pushes the boulder up the cliff?
Oh, Sisyphus?
Yeah, after he...
No, but he gets to the top and he gets to have fun on the weekend by going wee downhill. But you see, you got to work during the work week. You get to enjoy yourself on the weekend, but you got to work during the work week. And that is where the part of this cycle goes wrong.
First off, hump day is Wednesday. On Thursday, he's already at the top of the hill. On Friday, he's already coasting. So, realistically, there's only 3 days of work. It reminds me of in Dante's Inferno, there were the people that had to walk around an entire mountain for all eternity. And when they got to the very beginning, they would have their viscera split up through the middle and their guts would fall out. And they had to carry it as they walked around a mountain. And by the time they got around, they would heal up. And then it would all happen again.
And folks, guess what day it is today? We're at the bottom of the hill.
Oh, shit. I know. That's why our views are down. We should have been doing this on the weekend, on a Friday. All right.
So anyway,
that did change my
perception. All you guys living paycheck to paycheck, just quit your job.
Yeah, give
up.
So
you can stop living in a cycle of going up and down a hill. It's that simple. Change the way you think.
Just go down the hill constantly.
Now, I think this one says a lot about society. Don't you agree?
You know what? I think so. Because a lot of people want things that they're not willing to work towards. He's eating a pizza.
I guess that's true. Maybe he ordered a pizza that no one else liked. And then they're all ticked off at him because it's like, why did you order pineapple and anchovy when the rest of us just wanted pepperoni? Why'd you have to mix things up so much?
Now, is this dead internet? Are all the people who like this, are they bots, or did someone see this and think to themselves...
No, Rusty, this is profound. The message is clear.
Profoundly gay.
In order to create change, we have to be part of the change.
That's true. You know what? You're right.
It's not like you have a completely corrupt and rigged system that actively causes the status quo to persist. No, it's the people who just don't know what's nice for themselves.
No, it is true, though. I mean, people do actually have to actively want to make change in their life, and no one does, and that's a whole part of the problem. But
all right, this next one.
This is deep.
Now, a lot of the fellas out there...
Give me a moment to figure this out.
A lot of the fellas out there, I'm sure you can relate to this.
Okay. So she's a candle. She's a flame. She's hot. And a guy who is matches, who essentially lit her flame, is being overshadowed by someone who wants to put her flame out. Now, this makes no fucking sense because the matches guy would have created the flame. He doesn't encourage the flame. He's useless at this point. The flame's already lit.
You know, maybe the matches guy is just a big cuck.
He's an arsonist.
And
He works for State Farm.
He's really getting off on what's happening. Oh yeah, the flame is like California, and they're trying to extinguish right now. But these people in the matches keep sitting in the background. They keep sitting in the background and setting all the fires again.
Listen, everyone, I just want everyone to know that all the devastation that's happening in California, this is not a call to lynch Jake from State Farm.
Anyway, Russ, no, you know what? These are the matches you're trying to send out overseas, and he's just bummed out because they won't deliver him. But they will deliver, maybe if you come out with a Rusty Cage fire extinguisher, or a Rusty Cage branded, Cage Tech branded fire extinguisher, then they will ship that overseas.
I'll ask Samir about that.
But did that change the way you think?
Yes, it did. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We'll build this into the new intro.
Who the fuck would actually do this?
Wait, hold on a second. Well, god damn it.
No. Fuck. God, the whole thing is fucking up. We've changed the way we thought too much.
All right. The last word is think.
Common sense is not as common as you might think. But who the fuck would actually do this?
Well,
I get it's a metaphor,
yes,
but it's not very effective. He would not install an air conditioner instead of just escaping prison.
That's right. He could have got out, but instead he made his circumstances better. And someone is saying this is low quality even for incels. Shut up.
Oh, Rusty. This next one looks like it's meant for your generation. Do you get it? Does this change the way you think? Oh, by the way, it's 2024, and we're definitely living on a starship looking at TV through holographic projectors. Is this guy stupid?
I fucking hate whoever draws all these.
As a fellow comic, oh god, guys, drama in the comic community. Rusty Cage has snapped on a very talented and successful artist.
Yeah, Strongman Guide. Congrats on all of your success. This is fucking stupid. 1996, so they're just watching a TV.
Is that like is that Indiana Jones? What is that?
Brokeback Mountain?
No, that didn't come out until 2000s.
All right, let's get through these. I don't get it. What is the point here, Em? Just explain it to me, as though I'm retarded.
Rather than improving society and allowing your standard of living to slip away, because I guess he lives in a pod now in -5 years ago in 2020, and just watches a holographic programming. Just sink away into escapist media forever, and don't worry about the rug pull that's going on around you as your standard of living and your rights are slowly eroded away by corporate interests.
It looks like his standard of living got better in 2008, and it started out poor and ended poor.
He's in like a big bright house, and then he's in like some weird dingy moldy apartment.
All right, this one I get.
Guys.
This guy's eating an ice cream cone, but
politicians,
it looks funny,
often lie to you.
But his shadow looks funny.
It's like Pinocchio. You know, like how his nose grows.
Oh, he's a liar.
The politician is a liar.
I fucking hate this. Is this all the same guy? There's no way it's the same guy.
No. He's compiled a bunch of various insightful and inspiring images from across the web.
Terrible Banksy-esque.
The author, the publisher of this on Twitter is not the author of all these works.
This is not anti-Semitic. It's Pinocchio, not Pinocchio Stein.
Damn, she's gonna be bummed out when he finds out, or when she finds out he doesn't actually have candy.
Right. So he's meeting a young girl that he met on the internet, and he does not have candy for her. Instead, he has no hand in any of this.
Yeah, he got his arm blown off by an IED, I assume. And instead, the girl's going to expect candy, but he's going to reach out his stub, and she's going to freak out and cry and run away.
Yeah, imagine you see your father coming back from war, and the first thing you're thinking is like, oh, I hope you have candy for me.
Yeah, what a greedy bitch.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah,
bitch,
thanks for your
bitch
sacrifice.
child.
Give me my fucking sugary, diabetes-inducing candy.
She lives alone. Where's the mother at? No one else is there. Or he really is just meeting a girl alone at some house while the parents are out.
Well, you know
of
what
town.
happens a lot of the times to the single mothers when the soldiers go overseas for their tour of duty.
Yeah. Yeah, to all our veterans out there, thank you for your service. Don't be like this guy though. Oh, here we go. Gallows.
Now this one. You know, Rusty, sometimes you're the candle, sometimes you're the light bulb. What do we do to the brilliant and bright people of our society, really?
Oh man. Candles have longer flame lives than a lot of current incandescent light bulbs, which incandescent's out now, but there was a whole monopoly over light bulbs and the planned obsolescence and the cartels about light bulbs. Are they trying to hang it? Is this a revolutionary post that's saying we should go back to tradition where we had something that we could actually have a tangible control over and start candles rather than the technology that's enslaved us, and we are now responsible and in control to hang and punish our tech overlords? Or is that just a better idea and he's hanging it at the masses of stupidity?
You know, Rusty, this image reminds me a lot of your guillotine series.
Stupid? Stupid and overthought?
No, you know,
pretentious?
I think this one is something meaningful. You know, sometimes I see a lot of myself in that light bulb getting taken to the gallows. They don't want to hear the ideas, Rusty. They don't want to hear about the truth of the downward spiral.
Right, they just want the fire to keep on burning.
But a lot of the time, the light bulb is kind of rightfully executed. There's a lot of new ideas and technology that's really bad. Damn, look at this arrogant bitch.
Now, she's hideous. She's got big tits, though.
Do you think that the shopkeeper is putting oranges in his shirt right off screen there?
Yes, he's putting watermelons in his shirt.
He also owns the sweatshop. He's diversifying his business.
So this guy who's beating the drum, this is a slave ship. I forget what they call that when they have slaves specifically to row on ships. They're essentially doing that, but they're creating the red fabric.
Wait, they're on a physical ship?
Yes, they're on a ship, and he's beating the drum, the heave-ho drum, the boom.
Now, wouldn't that be terribly impractical for trying to sew clothing when the ship's rocking back and forth on choppy, turbulent water?
Right. And who are these people? Are these just old ladies or are they ugly ladies?
They're supposed to be Chinamen, Rusty.
Chinamen. Okay.
A lot of American manufactured goods are made in China, you see.
Yes. But I don't know what the point of making them all babushkas.
What an arrogant bitch. She's just going up buying straight from the fucking factory. Does she not care that these people...
She doesn't notice because she doesn't have to think about it.
Oh, because I guess they're like grayscale people. Kind of like how I'm green. I guess some people have a disorder where they become monochromatic.
God, we're going to go for another 30 minutes. Okay, Mother's Day. Other days. I don't fucking get it.
Is that you?
Oh, I get it. So the mother is neglected every day besides Mother's Day. Shut the fuck up.
Rusty, have you been neglecting your mother? Do you just take selfies with her and post it online just for clicks? When really, you're leading her to a lonely and unfulfilling life?
Bye, Mom.
You should appreciate your mother more.
Okay, I'll give her
In fact, everyone watching this, call your mom tomorrow. She misses you.
A lot of manspreading going on, but then the men stop. So men will stop taking up ball space if there's a guy waiting to sit down. But if there's a girl, then with big watermelons, then she can sit down in the middle.
Ladies in the audience, of which there are probably one.
They're all Indian guys too, if you really look.
Which is more sexy? If a man puts melons in his shirt to try to make fun of you for having tits, or if they stop manspreading on a train to make way for you to sit down. Now, unfortunately, a lot of bad press has been coming out of the subway and train system lately involving certain men's actions against women.
Yes.
But, you see, you can still be polite in the world. Rusty, how does this change the way you think?
I'll think more about how I can maximize my spread when I'm on a subway.
Yeah, I guess when a black man in a green suit tries to have a seat on the subway.
This fucking sucks. Who does this appeal to?
Rusty, this is insightful and profound.
That one has 1.6 thousand. Whatever. Maybe you should read. All right.
Is he just stupid?
He's doesn't want to do the work of offering him a rope because he knows he's gonna have to pull him up. So he's offering his little effort, his thoughts and prayers.
Really,
if you will.
he's just condemning him to die and acting like he's caring. Now, where have we seen this before?
I don't know. Well, what this guy could easily get up if he just wall jumped. Well, Emp.
That's all 15, folks.
I'm going to say this. My mind has been changed. I still have to process this. I'm going to have to process this overnight to really know how much this changed my life. But can we just quickly show a little bit of this footage?
That's right. Now, as we've been saying, over the holiday break, the New Year's break, Rusty Cage was sent on a trip to Hawaii.
That's right, and
where
not
he proceeded to jump out of an airplane.
Now, I didn't just jump, but I was strapped to a big burly man who jumped for me, so I had to make no decisions.
Oh yeah, like that guy picks you up, straps himself to you with the rope, and then jumps out of a plane.
So I don't want to show all the footage because I want to make this maybe one of the first edited videos on this channel because I have the footage and it's a good story and there's a lot of things related around it that I think are fun. So this is going to be a live special. It's probably going to be cut out of the VODs. But let's...
Here's a little bit of a taste for what you might be seeing coming soon to the channel.
1 second, please. Okay. All right, gang. So...
Now I'm going to warn you. The following footage, some viewers may find disturbing, and viewer discretion is advised.
So this is one camera angle from the 18,000 foot jump. They call that a halo jump because it's so high up, so there was supplemental oxygen. I have a fear of, I guess a fear of heights? I don't know, I get woozy whenever I'm too high up. And I don't like going on roller coasters and stuff, so they sent me out here to do this fucking thing. And
we had to stress test your unit, obviously.
Yeah, and it worked. This is one of a few camera angles, but there's more to this story. I just want to let y'all see before we close out the show. So here's me falling to my death over Oahu.
There you are. You got your man strapped on?
Yeah, it's very emasculating.
Well, there it is. No camera trickery here, folks. Damn.
They're the weirdest feeling in the world. You can see the entire island.
You look dead inside. You look like you still think you're going to die.
They make you do all this like stupid shit, like you have to do the shaka and
shaka bra,
thumbs up, and it's like I don't really want to do that. This guy's fucking got a raging boner.
Damn, this is his highlight of the day. He knows this is his chance to do something.
This is New Year's.
Nah, the people at this company are very respectful and reputable.
Yes. Yeah. So, yes, up there, we couldn't go any higher because the firmament was blocking the plane from going any higher. And I could, if you look closely, you can see the ice wall right over the fake curvature of the Earth. That's because it's a GoPro, and GoPro uses wide angle, so it just happens to make a round-looking.
Yeah, it's taking a while. Guy's looking at his watch.
It was a 1 minute and 14 second dead fall, or free fall, kind of. I mean, there's that little...
Does it feel good? I hear it's a very calming sensation once you finally hit free fall.
I shit my pants.
Oh, that's not good for his dick. Oh, the video cuts out after that.
That's right. That's right, because there is, unfortunately...
There was a complication, I'm hearing?
There were a few complications that happened shortly after the parachute was pulled. Well...
Oh, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen...
Oh, that unit was so fucking expensive for Cage Tech.
Listen.
Oh,
we've had some...
God.
We've had some people do some fan-submitted art. This is one that was sent to me on X or Instagram. This is by samfish_ch and samfish.png. But this one looked a little gay in my opinion, because it was like, EmpLemon, you're caressing me.
Now, of course, we just watched a video of a grown man literally strapped to your ass as you fell out of a plane. But this is where we draw the line at gay.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, we encourage people to draw not fan pics. The gayer the worse.
On the one hand, I like this art because I like seeing idolic images of myself because it satisfies my massive YouTuber ego. But on the other hand, I'm a bit confused as to why Rusty looks more Chinese than me.
That is true. I do look very Chinese. Well, they did amend this. Again, you can send anything that pertains to the show to submit at cage-tech.com. So this one's a little less gay. Hands off.
I don't know why you race changed me into some weird flesh-colored abomination when my natural skin color is green.
Oh. I mean, that might be a filter that I put on beforehand. That's
sure, yeah. There's no... I mean, a lot of artists get in trouble over that. Race-changing characters and people because they want to have some weird ethno-state vision of the future depicted through their art. I mean, it's enough that there's barely any green people left in the world, folks. I'm carrying the torch for one of the last of them, and then... So I don't know if I really appreciate this artist flesh-washing me in this way. I don't know, it feels like kind of erasing my culture. A little bit degrading. But keep the art coming, folks. We enjoy it. We get a kick out of it. We admire art. We admire artists. One of the few things in the world today that I'm genuinely interested in looking forward to. A lot of bad news on today's show. Went through some boomer pictures, but hopefully that was enough to offset it. Send the folks home happy. But yeah, submit your art. We love the aspiring artists out there, and if we like it enough, you might be featured on the Rusty Cage Show. Imagine the thought. Getting blasted out on YouTube in front of over 300 live viewers. I mean, if I was an aspiring artist or creator, I'd be chomping at the bit for such an opportunity. And yet, I'm sitting here looking at the emails, and it's completely bone dry. It's almost like you guys don't care. I ain't sure. Maybe I'll just make all the bumpers again. God forbid anyone else wants to contribute to this show. But who knows? Maybe that's, maybe we'll wait. Maybe we'll wait and see what the people have to come up with here.